keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
At 9:01, it's 13 degrees on our way to a high of 16 today. Breezy conditions, clear tonight with a low down to 4. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. At this hour in West Allis, crews are working to repair a water main break. It's near 99th Street between Lincoln and Beecher. The city says they'll be shutting down water service to make repairs, and also 99th Street will be closed while crews operate. They expect to have the work done by 3 p.m. It's been a busy week for water main breaks across southeast Wisconsin. Recall last week, Friday, Milwaukee had a massive water main break on the city's northwest side. Meanwhile, today, 2 women accused of committing hate crimes in Milwaukee's Cathedral Square Park back in court also this hour. 4 women wearing hijabs say they were approached by 30-year-old Peyton Smith and 34-year-old Miracle Reed in the park on July of 2023. According to the criminal report, 2 of the women in hijabs were then punched multiple times. Reed and Smith face numerous charges with hate crime enhancement. A full trial of the 2 women is set to begin on February 5th. Republican leaders in the state assembly say they will continue to ignore GOP attempts to impeach the state's top elections official. Republican State Representative Janelle Brandtjen is pushing for the impeachment resolution, but GOP Majority Leader Tyler August says there is no caucus support for it.
Our caucus is focused on real things, not grifting and not making a big show for the cameras, and that's all she's interested in doing.
But during a floor session on Thursday, Republican State Representative Scott Allen accused GOP leadership of abusing its power.
When a single member is ignored, when a member is not recognized, we disenfranchise nearly 60,000 Wisconsinites.
Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf is expected to remain in place through the November election. The FAA is investigating another airplane incident, this time in Miami.
An Atlas Air Boeing 747-8 cargo plane with 5 crew members made an emergency landing at Miami International Airport Thursday night after facing an engine malfunction shortly after departure.
Mayday, Giant 095, heavy engine fire. Request exit back to the airport. Giant 95 heavy, roger.
Unverified social media videos showed flames shooting out of the left wing of the plane in flight. There were no injuries. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
And the Biden administration today announcing action to increase the number of electric vehicle charging stations across the country.
Eligibility for a tax credit for an EV charger for businesses and individuals, up to 30% off the cost, will now be expanded to approximately 2/3 of Americans. The Departments of Energy and Transportation are also announcing $325 million in new investments meant to increase reliability and resilience of public chargers, advance EV tech, and help develop a workforce to build and maintain EV charging infrastructure. Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Modest start continuing for the majors today. The Dow Jones up 69 points to 37,538, while the S&P 500 is up 15 points to 4,796, and the Nasdaq up 74 to 15,128. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. It's wheels up for the Packers and off to Santa Clara. We'll have a look at your sports, roads, and 5-day forecast up next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 9:04.
This report is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
I couldn't even bend over, but now after stem cell treatment, I can deadlift a house.
Now this is an exaggeration, but I do hear about unbelievable miracle outcomes, and I have to ask, do you really believe them? If they were true, these biological treatments wouldn't even have to be advertised. Truth is, stem cell effectiveness is nowhere near 100%. It's expensive, and it doesn't last. At Rejuvenix, our FDA-approved pharmacological treatments ease inflammation and reduce pain. They're precisely administered to where your pain lives, and they work. Will the pain reduction last forever? No. But in some cases, relief has lasted as long as 24 months, and in most cases, insurance has paid for the treatments entirely. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenix Arthritis Clinics, where we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenix. Alleviate your pain. Rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenix.com to request your appointment.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Absolute Comfort HVAC. Worst time to start asking, hey, do you know an HVAC guy? It's when your furnace already quit on you. I've got your guy, Absolute Comfort HVAC. Brent and his team offer a full furnace tune-up for just $89, or do what I did. Bundle that with the spring AC tune-up, $150 plus tax. That includes discounts on parts and equipment and no fees for emergency repairs. Absolute Comfort HVAC. They're your HVAC guy. AbsoluteComfortWI.com.
I'm WTMJ's Sandy Max. What makes senior living at Three Pillars so special? It's all about living life how you choose. Take it from my friend Dint at Three Pillars.
After my husband passed, I started to think about maybe moving to a senior living place. After investigating many places, I moved into Three Pillars and I got to know so many people. Living life at Three Pillars, you can live life to the max, however you choose to do it.
Schedule a tour today at threepillars.org.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update.
It's wheels up in Green Bay today as the Packers are set to head out to California ahead of their Saturday night showdown against the 49ers. A task and a game quarterback Jordan N.O.W. knows won't be an easy one.
It's a great challenge for us. They're a really good defense, and they got a really good offense as well, so they're a great team all around. So we definitely got a great challenge ahead of us, and we're looking forward to it.
The Packers did hold a practice on Thursday. Jair Alexander, A.J. Dillon, linebacker Isaiah McDuffie, all questionable ahead of tomorrow night's game. Punter Daniel Whelan, also questionable with an illness. Kickoff set for Saturday night at 7:15. UW and Panthers' two-game win streak came to an abrupt end on Thursday as they fall to Northern Kentucky on the road. This one by a final of 90-72. And lastly, the Wisconsin Badgers will look to get back into the win column tonight after their road loss to Penn State earlier in the week. The 11th-ranked Badgers set to host Indiana tonight in Madison. Tip-off set for 7:30. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Checking the roads, your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic still working on a crash on the ramp from 894 north to I-94 west. That left lane blocked due to the crash there. Heading the other direction on 894, we're still working on that crash on the right shoulder near Greenfield. Our slow spot on the system is, of course, 43 southbound through the construction from Brown Deer to downtown. Right now, that's a 17-minute drive, an extra 7. The rest of the system overall looking pretty good. No other major incidents or delays.
Traffic is sponsored by Cedarburg PAC Inc., shining brightly for 25 years.
Get your tickets now for Brass Transit, the musical legacy of Chicago, this Friday at the Cedarburg Performing Arts Center, shining brightly for 25 years. Go to cedarburgpac.com.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Any leftover snow showers should pretty much be wrapped up at this point, but the remainder of them will get out of here within the next hour or so. Then it'll be breezy with a high of 16. Clear tonight, cold and breezy again, a low down to 4 above. Mostly sunny and 17 for your Saturday, warming up to 22 under sunny skies Sunday. Then we're back above freezing for Monday, a high of 35. Keep an eye, though, late Monday night into Tuesday. Tuesday could be a real mess of a weather forecast. Rain, snow, possibly some freezing rain. Still a bit too far out to determine exact details, but a high of 37 degrees. Right now in Madison, it's partly cloudy and 2 above. In Green Bay, checking in at 10 above this morning. Waukesha, partly cloudy and 5. And in Milwaukee, we've got mostly cloudy skies and 13 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 9:09.
The week is almost over, so pour that coffee. And let's discuss what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ Now. Joining Steve Scaffidi, here's Joe Sapecki and Bill McCoshen.
Should we talk about the government?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday, Political Power Hour, Packers weekend. We'll get to some of that later, but joining me, of course, on the Political Power Hour, Joe Sapecki, Democratic strategist, Bill McCoshen, who drove in all the way from wherever the hell you live now.
On the worst roads in Wisconsin and Madison.
Yeah. What was with drivers this morning, by the way? Come on, people. You were asking for the snow, and then once we get it, you can't drive in it.
Yeah.
I had no problems getting in. Lake looked beautiful this morning.
That's nice for you, Joe.
Yeah.
We want, above all else, Bill and I want you to be happy.
I know.
Every week. All right, so this week, it almost seems like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Iowa caucuses started the actual voting process. I think it's weird and unrepresentative and stupid and archaic, but your thoughts, Joe, on the Iowa caucuses?
The Iowa caucuses are a remarkable slice of Americana that have probably outlived their usefulness.
Yes, absolutely.
The Democrats have already decided that Iowa is no longer first. probably only a matter of time until Republicans do as well. But let's be candid. The demographics of Iowa more closely match the Republican Party than they do the Democratic Party. I mean, this is what Kevin McCarthy was saying, in his sort of farewell addresses. So, I'm not here to make you guys feel worse about yourself.
How did that come out of your mouth?
But I feel very good about it myself.
I feel good too.
But as the chair and co-chair of the Nikki Haley fan club,
stop.
A third place finish behind Ron DeSantis is not what we were expecting. It's just not.
How about a first place finish in New Hampshire?
That would turn things around for her.
There we go.
And I don't think that's going to happen. And the takeaways are pretty jarring, right? The three of us all thought that Trump would win.
Yep.
I was the only one who had him over 50, and he got over 50.
Correct.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks ago, we were sitting here, and Mr. McCoshen was talking about, saying like, oh, Joe's being pretty fair that like the over-under for a Trump victory of 15 is probably about right. And he won by 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And Ron DeSantis edged out Nikki Haley. And so to me, this just looks like what I've been trying to tell you guys, which is hoping for an alternative, looking for somebody to knock Trump off and make, your lives and Republicans' lives easier. It's not going to happen. That's my takeaway.
So, several things. Iowa's all about expectations. Actually, all the early caucuses or primaries are about expectations. The expectation for Trump was based on the final Des Moines Register poll that he would win by a considerable margin. They had him at 28. He ended up winning by, I think, 31. So he exceeded that expectation. He was over 50, right?
The largest win in Iowa caucus history.
Largest win in Iowa caucus history. So arguably, Trump exceeded expectations, even though they were high to begin with. DeSantis also exceeded expectations because the final Des Moines Register poll had him tied with Haley, and he ended up beating her only by a couple points, but he picked up 5 points, depending on the poll you were looking at, over the final 2 weeks of the campaign. So his investment in Iowa did pay off to a point, but he got no bounce out of it. Haley she met expectations. She was supposed to be in third until the very end. Then some polls had her tied for second or slightly ahead of that. She ended up coming in third. The notion that she made it a two-person race coming out of there was not accurate. And Vivek, he didn't meet expectations. So he's out and endorsing Trump. And Steve and I predicted that months and months and months ago. So
him and Doug Burgum. Don't forget about the Burgum-mentum behind Donald Trump.
Yeah. So,
what state's he governor of again?
Somewhere west.
We're now on to New Hampshire, and now Haley has to win New Hampshire to change the dynamic of this. She can probably finish within the margin of error, which is 5 points or less. But if he's a double-digit winner, this whole thing's over, and it's time to move on.
Some recent polling suggests in New Hampshire she was trending up, but that seems to have pulled back a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the most recent polls by USA Today and Boston Globe Suffolk have her down by 15 points already.
Which is not good. And I guess my question for both you guys is if Trump wins again in a dominant fashion,
it's over.
I think it's over.
In 2 races, done.
Yep,
yeah.
Done. When you look at Marco Rubio, Mitch McConnell signing onto letters, Mike Lee, the Republican establishment is coming to grips with this sooner than you guys are, which is Donald Trump's going to be the nominee.
If I could swear on the radio, I would right here. Those guys are all chicken. You know what? Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
they have been for years.
The fact that they endorse him after the fact is total BS, in my opinion. That is the weakest politician move in the history of the world.
I played it on the show. Their comments 3 years ago versus today about Trump, even Ted Cruz. It's like night and day. It's
Get
come on,
your
dude.
tongue out of his hind end. That's ridiculous.
Welcome to the party, Bill. This is what I've been trying to tell you about your party for the last couple years.
But I'm going to come back to something you said earlier. Had I been an Iowan on Monday, I would have caucused for Ron DeSantis. The reason is he could serve 2 terms. He is the most conservative guy in the race. He delivered on the conservative agenda time and time again, and he grew the party. Those are things I think in a prior day, Republicans would have rallied around. But in this environment, with an incumbent in the race, Donald Trump is an incumbent, that all got overlooked.
One of the things that doesn't get talked about enough, given the fact that we have Haley and DeSantis and Trump, let's say it looks like Trump's going to be the nominee. Let's say he's in the general. let's just say, and I'm not predicting this, he loses to Biden. Anything can happen. We saw what happened in 2016. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis have put themselves in really good position for 2028.
I agree with that.
I'm not sure I agree with that, but
Why would
finish
you not,
the point.
I mean, this is what you do. You set yourself up for a future run. They know what it's like to run in Iowa and New Hampshire, early primaries. They know the things they're going to face in debates and those challenges, doing all the press. Ron DeSantis admitted he screwed up on the press at the beginning of his campaign.
Yeah.
You learn those things. You become really strong candidates in 2028. Joe Biden, if he wins, he ain't going to be running again. So that's a viable option for these people. That may be what's driving them.
Did Ron DeSantis get a personality transplant in the last 24 hours that I don't know about? No, but seriously, Ron DeSantis was ahead of Trump in national polling.
Yeah.
He had all the money in the world.
Yep.
He has run one of the worst campaigns in modern American presidential campaign
Why do we
history.
think he ran at the worst case? I mean, you're around those guys.
I actually agree with that, and I would argue that Haley has run the best campaign for the last 12 months.
It got away from her in the last 10 days.
There was some
They've
slippage.
let the expectations game get the best of them. They got a full head of steam,
but
and
overall,
their ego
Betsy
took over
Ankney
in
and
New
that
Hampshire.
team, I think, ran the best campaign in 2023 and early 24 with a couple missteps. But DeSantis' campaign was flawed from the beginning, right? First, they were going to never respond to Trump, right? And Trump was bludgeoning them for months and months and months. Then they weren't going to announce until after he was done with his legislative session in early May. Trump kept going. I'll close with, then they had this bungled announcement on, I think it was still Twitter then, it might have been X, but it was a disaster, right? And it never got better. And so, yeah, I would argue DeSantis can come back. I agree with Steve on that, but the campaign was poorly run.
All right, he's Bill McCosh and Joseph Pecky. After the break, the state of the race, the two people that are actually probably going to be the nominees. Let's discuss Biden and Trump after this Political Power Hour, WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this. For the latest on Capitol Hill, tune in to CBS's Chief Washington Correspondent, Major Garrett.
Look, everyone understands a certain amount of privacy, but guess what? You become a cabinet secretary, you give up some of your privacy. That's what comes with the job, and everybody knows. And I would say this of a cabinet secretary in the Obama administration, the George W. Bush administration, the Clinton administration, all of which I covered, the Trump administration, or the Biden administration.
Thursdays at 3:45 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for the Bath Authority. Yes, if your bath or shower is old, outdated, mold, mildew, I hope not, broken tiles, we've all seen this at our house or your friend's house, right? You got to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling experience, all the products with a world-class, and this matters, folks, customer experience as well. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Schedule your free in-home estimate today. Don't wait. Today. Get $1,000 off your new shower or bath, plus, get this, 36 months of interest-free financing. Go do it right now. Call today or check them out online. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Better days start with a better night's sleep on a mattress from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in Milwaukee, our mattresses are custom built to your needs. We have all the comfort and firmness options to give you your best night's rest. Buying direct from our factory showrooms will save you up to 50% compared to national brands. Shop today during our New Year's sale at Ken Michaels Furniture for over 75 years of uncompromising quality, local factory direct saving, and your best night's sleep. Start the new year right with Norwalk Furniture on sale now at Ken Michaels Furniture. Save 35% on showroom pieces that are ready for immediate delivery, or in just 35 days, you can create a look that reflects your unique style with over 850 fabric and leather options and comfort levels, from cuddling to extra firm support. Norwalk Furniture's American roots go back over 102 years. For better quality American-made upholstery, shop the Norwalk Upholstery Sale at any Ken Michaels Furniture locations in Greenfield, Brookfield, or downtown.
Team up with the Brewers for an epic company event this season. With the Brewers Group Outing, you can trade weekday meetings for a fun-filled day at American Family Field, featuring options like tailgate spaces, all-inclusive areas, seating blocks, and much more. Plus, Brewers ticket representatives will make planning your event simple, as they'll be your personal concierge while booking your outing. Start planning your company outing today at brewers.com/groups.
WTMJ Now.
It must be love, love, love.
Oh, this little Packers theme.
It's the Jordan song.
Oh, yes. A lot of love. Because of...
Hey, there's your best friend, Brandon Snide.
Yes, they're
from
big time
Twitter.
sports
There
guy.
he is.
Interrupting
Internet famous Brandon Snide.
Interrupting my show so he can get some love from my guests.
Well, he wants to know why you guys bet against the Packers.
That's
last
what I
week.
was just going to say.
I'm gonna
I
do
was
it
talking
again.
to Bill in there. You both picked against Green Bay last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to pick them this week, so maybe that'll make up for it.
That's why Bill's my favorite.
Yes.
You shouldn't have
Yes.
favorites. You should love everyone equally. Isn't that the world we live in now at GKB? Come on there, Brand. Big-time sports guy Brandon Snide making a very short appearance on the program. All right, Joseph Pecky, Democratic strategist, Bill McCoshen on the Republican side of the aisle. The two people that are probably going to be the nominees, right? Joe Biden, current president, Donald Trump, former president. What's the state of the race today, Bill?
The matchup no one wants, right? And that's what we're going to get.
What everybody's going to get.
Yeah, so my biggest concern, frankly, coming out of Iowa was the turnout being so depressed. It was down 40% from 2016.
Was it just weather?
I don't think so. I don't think so. We'll know a little bit more when we get through New Hampshire next Tuesday, but there isn't as much excitement on our side as there should be. This should be a phenomenal year for the GOP, and that has me concerned is where is our enthusiasm right now?
One of my questions was, if Trump is the nominee and he loses, a lot of this stuff we've talked about, the impact of having someone like a former president who's gotten, 91 indictments facing him, who says the most outlandish things, unpresidential things that any president, I can't say ever because I haven't been around for all the years, but in recent times, the risk of having a candidate like that is you blow up the party, and it sometimes can take a long time to heal those wounds, or maybe they don't heal, Bill.
Well, I think the challenge, and we're going to get to this in a different segment today, is how he brings the party together, right? And the notion that he might pick someone who's identical to him or extremely loyal to him as the VP versus trying to grow the party and bring voters like me back. I think they have to be strategic about that. This is ultimately about math. It's about winning. And somebody that looks like him that adds nothing to the ticket means it is an absolute disaster for Republicans.
I would argue that's exactly who's going to pick, though, because he wants a yes person.
That would be a problem. I think Biden is incredibly vulnerable for a variety of reasons, which I talk about every week, starting with his age, going to the border, going to the economy. This should be a Republican advantage. And if we only go sort of straight through the Donald Trump and his disciples route, it's going to be a jump ball.
You can only operate within the system as it exists. And so in the last segment I talked about, Trump has got this thing. He is an overwhelming 30-point winner. He's going to rack up wins and put this away early. The flip side of that is that this process and the system by which we pick our nominees represents such a small slice of America.
Right, for sure.
4%. 4 out of every 100 Iowans were a part of the Iowa caucuses on Monday.
Yeah.
And of those 4, every 2 of them, half of them, wanted somebody other than Donald Trump.
Right.
So the 4 Iowans who are the most involved in Republican politics, the most conservative, that they care enough to participate in a nominating process, half of them, Donald Trump has work to do it. And so eventually that's going to catch up with him because we've said it before, divided parties don't win elections.
They don't.
And when this gentleman is conducting himself in a way where, again, this week, we see the all caps screaming at the top of his lungs, if the president does it, it's not a crime. That's the behavior of a wannabe authoritarian, of a potential tyrant. And that is why half of Iowa Republican caucus goers are looking for somebody else. This guy is a problem for our democracy. He is a problem for the Republican Party. And yet here we are barreling headlong into a reality where he is nominated again. And as that happens, and with every subsequent nominating contest, my prediction is Joe Biden's numbers are going to look a lot better because people are going to stop comparing Joe Biden to the almighty and start comparing him to the alternative.
2 things. One, and Bill kind of alluded to this, do you sense that the whatever apathy we saw in Iowa is going to be representative of the entire circle of primaries?
I'm afraid for Republicans, I'm afraid it is.
Okay.
And the other number I want to share, 67%, more than 2/3 of Iowa caucus goers were over the age of 50.
Yeah.
We keep hearing this, that they're like, oh, Trump's going to do better with young voters, and Joe Biden has a young voter based on what?
Yeah, again, I'm not a fan of caucuses, and to have Iowa first, I know it's a tradition and historically.
Think about it. There was like $300 million spent there.
Yeah, it's just insane.
For 110,000 votes.
Let's talk about your guy, Joe Biden.
Yeah.
What's he doing through all of this? Is he just watching it happen?
On the politics or on, like, he's running the country?
On the campaign of running for his second term.
He's trying to keep the Houthis from disrupting shipping lanes.
That's a whole other conversation.
He's trying to negotiate a border deal.
The campaign part of him running for president again. I mean, he certainly has to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
There's problems. You mentioned one of them, or Bill did, the border.
And he's raising a ton of money, $97 million cash on hand. He's building out his campaign team here in Wisconsin and across the battleground states, adding folks, it seems like, every couple of days. So, I think from my standpoint, there are politicians who are better candidates than they are as, running a government. And there are folks who are better at running a government than they are at campaigning and politicking.
Well, some people would argue that Joe Biden doesn't even get involved in campaigning; just shows up every once in a while. Everybody else makes the call.
And I'm okay with that because I think he is a better president than he is candidate. This is a guy who has gotten major pieces of legislation passed. The economy is cooking. I know people are like, there's a lag and a disconnect, but when you look at the numbers, things are going well. When you look at the international, crises that are going on, Joe Biden is making the best of a awful set of situations and scenarios. This guy's a good president. You guys don't want to admit it, but at some point you're gonna, maybe it's 20 years from now. You're gonna look back and go, "Holy cow!"
On the list of things, criteria for, did you say good or great president?
Good. I said good.
Good president. What's the top three? What would that be?
Good economy.
Reagan? Were you going to say Reagan?
No, I said good economy.
Okay.
Good steward of American values and our role in the world.
He's safe.
Able to implement an agenda. He's done all three of those things.
Usually you look at the job approval of the incumbent, you look at their favorability, and you look at the right direction, wrong track.
What was George Washington's job approval?
Not sure.
But
Not
we believe
sure.
he was a pretty good president,
I feel like I might have been there, right? I feel a little bit older every week, but
Yeah.
I wasn't there. So he's upside down with the job approval for sure. Right track, wrong direction is a third of the country thinks we're heading in the right direction. 2/3 think we're off on the wrong track, and his favorability's underwater. So the traditional metrics of campaigns on whether or not an incumbent is vulnerable, he's in the wrong spot on all of them.
Got to take a break here. Bill McCosh, Republican strategist. Joe Zepacki, Democratic side of the aisle. Lots more to get to, including who the former president might pick for his VP. Some names being thrown out there. It's a very important question because, as Bill said, do you add to your vote total, or do you just kind of play it safe and pick somebody that just says yes to everything you say? We'll discuss Political Power Hour, WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this. Start planning for your retirement today so you enjoy retirement tomorrow. Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday mornings at 7, where Tony Drake and his Education First team discuss retirement trends, taxes, inflation, and Social Security benefits to help you achieve a more secure financial future.
Join us this week as we discuss tax strategies for 2024 and how they can improve the longevity of your retirement.
Retirement Ready with Tony Drake on WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Universal Windows Direct. If you've been cold in your home, and you've certainly had an opportunity for that in the last couple of weeks, do not suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty home. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Schedule today, free in-home estimate. And for every 2 windows you buy, get this, you get the next 2 free. 2 windows purchased, 2 windows free. Plus, adding to that, free upgrade to triple pane windows and glass, the best you can have in this cold weather. And by the way, they're also going to double your energy tax credit. Tell them I told you to call. Get an additional $250 off your project. Oh, my goodness. You've got to go with Universal Windows Direct for the last windows you'll ever need. And you'll be saying, if you go to universalwindowsdirect.com, I love my windows.
This is a story about how Walker Media Agency even makes rivets exciting. Vince Vitrano here. When you work with Matt Walker and his team, they get your company website working for you. Prairie Rivet in South Central Wisconsin, their website didn't even list all of the rivets they so proudly produce online. Walker Media Agency built a site for them that tells their story, highlights company leaders, and if you need rivets, a full description of what Prairie makes and how to order them. Have Walker Media Agency build your company a site that works as hard as you do. Find them at WalkerWTMJ.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik, and I'm excited to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. The NBA season is here. There is no easier way to get in on the action than with Underdog Fantasy and their Pick'em game. It's a fantasy game, but you can win real money. And yes, it is legal in Wisconsin. Pick between 2 to 5 players, select higher or lower on their stats. If your picks hit, you can win up to 100 times your money. There's even golf and baseball. Here's how you get started. Download their very easy-to-use mobile app. Go to UnderdogFantasy.com. Sign up with the promo code WTMJ. Underdog Fantasy will double your first deposit up to $100. I love it. It's easy to use, it's fast, and so much fun to play. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code WTMJ. Sign up now. Start playing and start winning. Must be 18 years of age or older to play and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
It's WTMJ Now.
Hopefully hurts the 49ers on Saturday night. See what I did there? Yes.
Charlie's got it going on back there.
He's not sleeping back there, even though Brandon almost took over the show a little bit earlier. You should have elbowed him out of the way. All right, so there's a lot of speculation right now about who wants to be or who the former president Donald Trump's going to pick for VP. Elise Stefanik, Kristi Noem, Tim Scott. What do we think, Bill? Is there a name that makes... There's two ways you can look at this. One, who Trump wants, which I think is vastly different than what maybe Republicans want. How do you see it?
I think he ought to play the big game, play addition. I think Nikki Haley would be at the top of that list. And some of your listeners may be sliding off the road on their car with me saying that right now. Mm-hmm. I'm here to tell you, if Donald Trump tells his supporters she's fine, she'll be fine. There is no chance
would she say yes,
his hardcore supporters would stay home if he picked her. She adds to the ticket. She helps with suburban moms. She certainly brings in moderates and independents who we need to win a national election. So she'd be at the top of the list. Ron DeSantis, frankly, would be number 2 for me because he is the most conservative guy. So if you want traditional Republicans like me to be more excited about this, you want to see the future, right? Because Trump can only serve one term. And then there's some argument for Vivek, believe it or not. I'm not a huge fan, but he does have an appeal with young voters. So those 3 people actually add to the ticket. Kristi Noem, 0. Elise Stefanik, 0.
Anybody that's not running, or like somebody else, who?
Listen, Tim Scott doesn't help at all. I don't see where that is. He gets any additional votes. Kristi Noem doesn't help. I don't think Elise Stefanik helps. You know, a guy like Brian Kemp, that would be outside the box. The governor of Georgia, who is not a Trump fan, Trump went after.
Don't you think whoever he picks is going to be a Trump fan? I do.
Have you been paying attention to Donald Trump for the last 8 years?
I'm trying to give him unsolicited advice.
He's not going to listen to it. This is the most shallow, vapid, vain man who has maybe ever walked the face of the earth. Reporting that I saw this week from the books from these Republican administration officials, when Rex Tillerson was fired, on the toilet as Secretary of State, and they were trying to figure out who was going to be the next Secretary of State. Jared Kushner, Ivanka, a lot of people around Trump are going, you have a built-in, ready-made, ready-to-go Nikki Haley, who has been ambassador to the United Nations. Just bump her up a slot. And Trump says, no, she's got the complexion thing. I didn't even know this was a thing. Apparently, she's got some complexion thing on her cheeks, and he thinks that means she doesn't look the part and can't be Secretary of State. You think he's going to make her vice president? No,
I don't think he's
going to
pick her.
The guy is nuts.
I think he's going to pick Elise Stefanik because he needs women.
But she doesn't help, though.
But based on what I just said,
she's a moderate. Listen, for guys like me, she does nothing. She's a moderate. She had her day in the sun. She got 2 pelts from 2 Ivy League college presidents. But she's a moderate. I mean, in a traditional sense, she is a rhino. She adds nothing for guys like me.
Does Donald Trump look at Elise Stefanik and say she looks the part?
I don't know. I don't try to guess what Donald Trump thinks because it's a dangerous.
She does not look the part. She does not look qualified.
And that's the reality. If he's going to pick a woman, it's going to be a more conventionally attractive woman, and therefore I will put my money on Kristi Noem, governor of South Dakota. I wish that wasn't the case. That's not how any of this should work. But after watching Donald Trump for 8 years, I don't have the ability to give him any more credit than that. Look at this lawyer he's got defending him in court, who the judge has to talk to like she's a first-year law student. The only redeeming quality she appears to have is she looks the part of central casting.
You think that's why I picked her?
I do. And I can't let this segment end without pointing out we have a really great vice president right now who will be here in the great state of Wisconsin who will be here in the great state of Wisconsin on Monday.
All right, are you working on that appearance?
To mark
what are you
the
doing
anniversary of Roe v. Wade and fundamental rights that were stripped away thanks to Donald Trump and his Supreme Court picks. And of all the places in all the land she could come to mark that day and talk about access to reproductive health care, she's coming here to Wisconsin.
Well, by the way, there'll be a big Republican
Wisconsin
abortion bill announced today. There'll be a hearing Monday. It'll be on the assembly floor next week.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Oh, interesting.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. All right, we'll take another break here. Lots more to talk about with the guys, the Political Power Hour on WTMJ Now.
It's WTMJ Now.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. The Energy Star ratings for windows are getting a lot tougher to get the tax credit, so you're going to want to take advantage of. Fortunately, we still have options that will qualify you for those tax credits. Now, I can sit here and talk benefits of this product or what's great about that product. So can everybody else. But what a lot of operations can't do is, with complete confidence, stand behind the crew that's going to be on that next job. Talk is cheap, I get it, but our people are exceptional. How do I know? Because me and Vito handpick every single person that makes our team. Some make the cut, a lot don't. And that's why you can be confident that the windows we install for you will be top quality, installed right, and that you're going to get great service. And that's never failed us. So for your home's new windows, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
WTMJ Now.
9:39 on WTMJ. Thanks for tuning in. I know a lot of folks tune in to hear Bill and Joe on Friday. Bill McCosh and Joe Zepecki, the Political Power Hour, and me. I think
I show up just to see what you guys have to say. That's all.
Yeah, we have some of our best discussions during the break. So we're going to have to figure out some way to market that piece of it, like the Political Power Hour Unplugged.
Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh.
So thinking about that, stewing that in my brain a little bit. All right, gentlemen. I've had show after show, segment after segment about this issue, the border with Mexico, the southern border of the United States, the issues there, the decades-long challenge to come up with something that actually makes sense. I gave the numbers yesterday. The start of the Biden administration, there was, I think, about 650,000 contacts. Last year, 2023, 3.2 million. So the flow is not shut off. There's no shut-off valve for that.
Why do we want it shut off?
Illegal. And
no, if there's contacts, we know people are coming.
That's just the context, though.
If we want to grow this country, why do we want to shut the valve off of immigration?
Because the point is the volume. We can't deal with the volume that people are coming across.
It's a policy choice to not deal with the volume.
Okay, so that's a great segue to what we're going to talk about.
generations of Congresses and presidents.
Yes. So right now, there's high-level conversations. The Schumers, the Mike Johnson. We have the President of the United States and Mitch McConnell all having this conversation about maybe a deal.
But who's that? But some of those folks are acting in good faith, and some of them aren't.
That was my
and
question
that's the reality.
for Bill. Do you think? Because I've heard Ron Johnson say this. I've heard Mike Johnson say this. We don't really want to do this because it would make the current president, look good. Where are we at on this?
I think there are plenty of Republican senators who would gladly cut a deal. And I can go over the last 30 years and say the same thing about things that would not be in alignment with where the base is. The will is not there to do it in the United States House of Representatives, at least in the Republican conference. So whatever meeting they had this week, they can have 10 more of those. It isn't going to lead to a deal. This calendar year that Donald Trump has already tweeted out or truthed out.
And told Mike Johnson, don't do this.
No deal. Johnson admitted on some shows this week. Yeah. He's been talking to Trump about this. I do not believe there will be a deal. I think it will be the number one issue in the presidential race if it ends up being Biden and Trump, which we are clearly headed towards.
Is Johnson, his speakership in peril? Because he also was in favor of the continuing resolution, and Donald Trump apparently wasn't.
We're pretty good at erasing real facts on our side. So the truth is he did the exact same thing McCarthy did. He cut a deal on spending with Democrats. It was overwhelmingly passed. That's exactly why McCarthy was knocked out of office. Johnson has a very thin wire to walk here.
Thinner than McCarthy even.
If he does anything on the border that the Freedom Caucus is opposed to, he will get. They will take him out.
So that's basically cuts off any chance of anything being done.
It won't happen.
What do you think from a Democratic position? I think Biden's that's his worst area is the border policy.
I think the party of Ronald Reagan died in Iowa on Monday, and I'm not joking, because the cost of the insanity from Ron Johnson and Mike Johnson and saying we'd rather have this issue than solve the problem means that Ukrainian people fighting for their freedom are going to be left without the arms and munitions they need to protect their homes. That's not the party of Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan talked about a shining city on a hill that people walk for weeks and months to get to make a better life for them and their families. For as much as we complain about how terrible things are, why don't we spend just a moment reflecting on the fact that the folks who are being contacted at the border and are trying to get here are escaping gang violence and countries where armed thugs take over TV stations and radio stations and threaten elected leaders. They want to come here because it's the best place in the world. And what our Republican leaders do is demagogue and make them seem like other and say that they are poisoning the blood of the country. Get out of here.
I don't disagree with that, but there has to be a legal process.
Yes.
It can't be it can't be mayhem, which is what it is.
And listen, when your newest senator, John Fetterman, is now more conservative than at least 30 GOP United States senators, that's saying something, right? I mean, we got guys that would cave for nothing.
It's not about caving. It's about a rational, sensible policy.
It is not going to happen anytime soon. I think one of the greatest untold stories of the last 18 months is what Governor Greg Abbott has done from Texas, where he is busing or flying immigrants, illegal immigrants, to Chicago, to New York. Those cities are busting at the seams now. And so finally, Democrats understand what this means. When it was just going on into Texas, that's his problem. No big deal. Now it's a national issue, and I think it will be the number one issue in the presidential race.
Let's talk about Greg Abbott and a policy choice made by the great state of Texas that led to Americans who had the ability to save 3 migrants who were drowning in a river. Could have saved them after walking for God knows how many weeks to get to this country. And the Texas policy is you cannot aid and abet and go to the rescue of people, and 3 migrants drowned. After weeks of walking for a better life and for freedom, the state of Texas said, we don't care, and they had to watch those immigrants drown. That's, in the greatest country on earth, that is appalling.
Does this become the issue as we move forward through, when it becomes a real campaign between Joe Biden and Donald? Is that one of the linchpins of this argument back
Republicans
and forth?
want it to be. And I'll try to tune down the passion I get on this because the conversation around immigration is so disconnected from the reality of it. But on the politics of it, this is a good political issue for Republicans. Clearly they think so,
right?
Which is why Mike Johnson and Donald Trump would rather run on it than solve it. And these campaigns aren't run in a vacuum, right? Republicans deciding this is what we want to run on doesn't mean that that's what the entire campaign will be about, because Joe Biden and Democrats get to be a part of that conversation too. And they're going to point to things like, investments in climate and create good job growth for the last few years and the return of American manufacturing. So is it going to be an issue? Yes. And it will be more of an issue and more of a problem because Republicans would rather play politics than solve the issue.
Joe made a good point earlier today that it will be a choice election. If you're Donald Trump and his team, you want it to be a choice, and you want that choice to be about the border. Whose policy was better? What was our border more secure under the Trump administration or under the Biden administration? And the answer is clearly the Trump administration.
855-616-1620, the WTMJ Talk and Text line. I've got a question that I want to ask you guys. I'll give it to you during the break. We will answer that question as best we can. You're listening, of course, to the Political Power Hour on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Hey, Brian. I think it's time to get serious about new windows and front door for our home.
I agree. It will save us money in the long run to eliminate the draft.
I was thinking more about our curb appeal, but yes, the draft thing too.
J&J Contractors in Greendale have been around for 40 years and have great reviews.
Go give them a call.
J&J Contractors' skilled and certified team uses high-quality materials for all your exterior needs. J&J Contractors do it all. Windows, doors, siding, roofing, and gutters.
New year, new ride. Griffin brings you the ultimate New Year special. $179.95 for a complete car pampering, oil change, tire inspection and rotation, air filter and wiper blade replacement, multi-point inspection, battery check, and heat inspection. Drive into the new year with confidence, only at one of Griffin's 5 service departments. See Griffin for details and restrictions.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Nagging pain lasting for months, difficulty performing everyday tasks, not moving like you'd like, it's time to see the doctor. And I recommend Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Anytime I've needed care, the appointments are timely, no waiting weeks to be seen, and no pressure to have surgery. It's about getting the right diagnosis and choosing a treatment plan that fits your life. No question where I turn if I'm injured again. The experts in care at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. It's orthowisconsin.com.
Need to hire quality candidates fast? You need Indeed. Their video interview tool makes it easy and effortless to meet with candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Get started with your no-hassle refi checkup by clicking on the blue button at Accunet.com.
What's better than free? How about play free all year? This January at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you can win over $2,000 in reward play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games to earn prize drawing entries. Then stop by each Thursday night in January to see if you're a winner. $400,000 in prizes is up for grabs. Over 40 winners each week. Yeah, free is for me. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Guthrie & Fry protects the water in my house. Guthrie & Fry has provided expert advice, quality service, and reliable water since 1974. Owners Sue and Rob are well known and very generous in the local community for supporting great causes that change lives. We've got their water softener. We've got their reverse osmosis system. Our water is crisp, clean, and clear. GFwater.com. It's Guthrie & Fry.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie & Fry.
WTMJ Now.
Joseph Becky, Bill McCosh, People Power Hour. So a texter asked this question on the WTMJ Talking Text line. Should a former president have that kind of sway over policy which is happening right now with the border, immigration, that being Donald Trump, essentially talking to Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House.
Well, how I would answer that is should is entirely subjective.
Right.
Right. You can believe that former presidents, due to their unique perspective and experience, have something to offer. And I'm not just talking about Trump, I'm talking about all former presidents. But the historical precedent has been that former presidents largely fade from public life.
Right.
George W. Bush is working on his paintings. Barack Obama is executive producing movies and writing his memoirs. And we trot him out around campaign time, and he does big rallies for us, but he doesn't weigh in every day.
Right.
Jimmy Carter and Bill Clinton were guys who would do overseas envoy missions. After one of the hurricanes in Haiti, you had Bush 43 and Clinton 42. So special projects. Personally, I don't think it's appropriate for a president to weigh in on this kind of stuff, whether they're running or not. But certainly if they're running, there's almost no way to avoid it.
He's essentially controlling the policy agenda of the U.S. House of Representatives.
He controls the Republican Party.
He does. And it doesn't give a lot of wiggle room for the members of the Senate or the House, right? And that's why some of them are caving and endorsing him now after sitting on the sidelines. I mean, it is the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. But I think that Johnson has a chance to be a really good and successful speaker. We'll see if he gets through the next 60 days.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's the window. If he doesn't get the actual budget done, why would, and to the satisfaction of his members, he's gone.
He's already got people talking about, the motion to vacate, and that's not a good thing. I mean, for us as a party, this fire started by Matt Gaetz and Nancy Mace, we may not be able to put out.
I got to take another break here because we want to get the grab bag in. Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen, Political Power Hour, and yours truly. Maybe I'll even have something on the grab bag today. We'll see. That's next.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Hi, it's Brian Noonan from WTMJ Nights. I've got some big news. Starting now, you can download WTMJ Nights wherever you get your podcasts. That's right, you can enjoy our nighttime fun anytime you want. Find WTMJ Nights on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Local news, national stories, random silliness. You'll get a bit of everything on WTMJ Nights. So join me, Brian Noonan, weeknights from 6 to 9 here on WTMJ, the WTMJ mobile app, or wherever you get your podcasts. WTMJ Nights. Listen whenever and wherever you want.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Transform your bathroom like we did. It's Sidex, S-I-D-E-X, Sidex. Take out that conventional bathtub, put in a walk-in shower. That's what we did at our house. It's beautiful. It's open. It's transformed our bathroom. And right now with Sidex, you get $750 off any bathtub or shower replacement. They serve within 60 miles of Milwaukee. It's Sidex. They did the work at our house. It was quick. It was affordable. It was efficient. And our bathroom is beautiful. Go with the company we trust, Sidex. Free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ or John Mercure.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend only to the Wisconsin State Fair Cream Puff Pavilion. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% off retail. This weekend only at the Wisconsin State Fair Cream Puff Pavilion.
Goodyear, Dunlop, Kelly, Continental, General, you name it, we got it.
Plus, free flat tire repair, free tire rotations, and more.
So when you're due for tire service, schedule it at richlawns.com.
That's Rich Lawns with 2 N's.
Rich Lawns.
Team up with the Brewers for an epic company event this season. With the Brewers Group Outing, you can trade weekday meetings for a fun-filled day at American Family Field. Featuring options like tailgate spaces, all-inclusive areas, seating blocks, and much more. Plus, Brewers ticket representatives will make planning your event simple, as they'll be your personal concierge while booking your outing. Start planning your company outing today at brewers.com/groups.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Inspired Closets. Have gifts from the holidays overwhelm the house? Adding to your clutter? Give yourself the gift of organization. Inspired Closets will calm the chaos in your closets or laundry room, your pantry, any space that needs it. They come out for a free visit, listen to your needs, and use their 3D software to customize a space that helps manage your world. Call my friends Katie and Dan today. Local wife and husband team ready to help. Inspired days start in Inspired Closets. InspiredClosetsMKE.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ Now.
Oh, there we go. He's no baby. Jordan Love is ready to take the reins. All right, the grab bag segment of the great hour we do every Friday, the Political Power Hour. Joe Zepecki, Bill McCoshen. Who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
I got a good and a bad. The good is a happy birthday to my wife, my beautiful wife, Carol.
Happy birthday.
Charlie, you can play a little
Happy
music.
birthday. Yeah, find it for us.
I won't say her age, but she robbed the cradle. She's a little bit older than me.
You also outkicked her coverage, which you probably heard.
I totally outkicked
And
my
smart
coverage.
men go for older women.
Yeah. So happy birthday to my lovely wife. And then on a sad note, a guy I've shared Packer tickets with for 25 years passed this week of
Sorry to hear
pancreatic cancer. Jim Morrison, I got a chance to have a final conversation with him a week ago in Green Bay, and we had a lot of laughs. And Jimmy, you're a good one, and rest in peace.
Well said.
Well said. I don't want to let this week go by without recognizing that Monday was Martin Luther King Day. Had the opportunity to go to the YMCA breakfast in Milwaukee. Wonderful event. Special shout out to Journey, the young woman from Milwaukee Public Schools who wrote a poem in honor of Dr. King and his legacy, and that march that we're still on to get to the promised land that Dr. King spoke of, and the mountaintop that he spoke of. So I hope people took a few minutes to reflect on Monday. I certainly did, and in 2023, I was able to go to 2 memorials to Dr. King, one in Washington, D.C., one in San Francisco, California.
Wow.
Nice.
Each end of the country.
Yeah, and I said this the other day on MLK Day. If you have not seen the memorial in Washington, D.C., go see it. Actually, go see all the monuments and memorials. The city blows me away. It does, and I've been there 100 times. Every time I go, it's like the first time I've been there.
And last year when I went in the fall, I had the opportunity to walk the monuments at night, and it is somehow even more powerful at night, the way that it sort of emerges out of the darkness.
All right, mine's Packers. My advice for everybody, I'll talk some Packers. We have the fan of the year guy coming on later in the show. This is bonus football for us. None of us expected this. We're facing a team that's been our nemesis as of late, but that team beat Aaron Rodgers. They didn't beat Jordan Love. Jordan Love is the hottest quarterback in the NFL. 21 touchdowns, 1 interception over his last 10 games.
Yep.
That's pretty good against some pretty good teams. Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions at home, right? Chicago Bears, who is always a nemesis, so they can't beat us to save their lives. And they may have a new quarterback next year like they do every other year. So.
Are you picking the Packers this week?
I'm going to pick them, yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I got the Packers.
I'm pretty superstitious, so I'm going to try to say exactly what I said last week, which is we've already won. This is a great opportunity for these young players to get some more experience, get some playoff experience. I think the 49ers are a better team, but we've already won just by getting the opportunity.
And by the way, thanks NFL. I love the Saturday night game.
Yeah.
My Sunday's wide open. I can do it. I can watch football. I can not watch football, depending on my mood, based on Saturday Night Live. So thanks to the NFL for scheduling that. And then if it happens and Detroit wins, 2 NFC North teams, gentlemen, in the NFC Championship. Last time that happened, 2010, and I'm pretty sure we won the Super Bowl that year. So that's an optimistic way to look at it. So that's my grab bag. Gentlemen, we'll do it again. Oh, by the way, tease for you both. When I'm gone on the 29th of January, you two have all 3 hours.
Oh, boy.
I can see the guest list.
Oh, boy.
People already dialing you up to get on that show. All right. And if they do make the NFC Championship game, you'll have something to talk about on that day. All right.
Sounds good.
Political Power Hour. News is next. WTMJ.
Happy birthday to you, and I hope you have many more. Happy birthday to you.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Your nose is for breathing. Your mouth is for eating. And if you're breathing through your mouth, it's not because your body wants to. It's because it has to, because your nose isn't working properly. And although you've lived like this, it's no way to live, and it's having a significant impact on your life. I know you know this, and I know that taking action isn't always convenient. But at Advent, we've done all we can to make changing your life for the better as easy as possible. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. With tens of thousands of our patients, a thorough breathing triangle evaluation, along with a simple 20-minute in-office procedure called balloon sinuplasty, has opened their nasal passages, allowing them to breathe freely through their nose for good. And there's a good chance this procedure can do the same for you. We'll help you breathe through your nose again, and it will change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. We have cloudy skies, 11 degrees. Not going to get much warmer today with a high of only 16. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Crews are working to repair a water main break 99th Street in West Dallas between Lincoln and Bettner.
The city says they will be shutting down water service to make repairs, and 99th Street will also be closed while crews operate. It's been a busy week for waterworks crews in southeast Wisconsin. In Milwaukee alone, waterworks superintendent Patrick Pauley says that since last Friday's winter storm and subsequent bitter cold, the city has dealt with over 24 water main breaks. Repairs today in West Dallas should be completed by around 3 p.m. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Latest winter storm will usher in more record cold across the eastern half of the country over the weekend. Weather affecting air travel. Casey Mills trying to get from Rochester, New York to New Orleans on Southwest Airlines. Her initial flight was canceled.
They still have the flight, I think, going out maybe around 9 tonight, but that means you have to spend the night in the Baltimore airport, unfortunately, and I'm just not really willing to do that at the moment. So I am rescheduled for 4:45 tomorrow, hopefully.
In addition to the Midwest, the East also gets another round of snow. Your complete 5-day forecast coming up in less than 10 minutes. 2 women accused of committing hate crimes in Milwaukee's Cathedral Square Park in court this morning. The case stems from an incident in July of 2023 where 4 women wearing hijabs said they were approached by 30-year-old Peyton Smith and 34-year-old Miracle Reed. According to the criminal report, 2 of the women in hijabs that were then punched multiple times. A full trial for the 2 women set to begin February 5th. Vice President Kamala Harris will visit Waukesha County Monday as part of a nationwide tour campaigning for reproductive rights. The date of her appearance carries significance of happening 51 years after the Roe v. Wade decision that legalized abortion nationwide before its subsequent repeal by the Supreme Court in 2022. We don't yet have details about where Harris will speak or when she arrives. Meanwhile, thousands of anti-abortion activists are in Washington, D.C. today for the 2024 March for Life. It's the group's second march since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. Demonstrators will gather on the National Mall for a rally at noon local time before marching to the Supreme Court building. President Biden set to sign a stopgap spending bill today that will keep the government funded till March 1st. The House quickly approved the funding bill Thursday so they could get out of Washington ahead of that severe winter storm. The bill will extend federal funding that's set to expire tonight, averting a partial government shutdown. The Biden administration announces a new student debt relief package. Here's ABC's Selena Wang.
The president says he's not going to hesitate to use all the tools he can, including increasing Pell Grants for low-income students and making repayment plans lower than ever. The president trying to show that he's making good on his campaign promise even after the Supreme Court struck down his student loan relief plan last year. Now, the president, he's been touting this number. The administration saying that they've canceled student debt for more than 3.7 million Americans.
This new package will cancel debt for more than 70,000 borrowers. Wisconsin represented in the Football Dream All-American Bowl in Dallas last weekend by 2 of the top 150 prospects in the U.S.
Running back Joe Johnson and wide receiver Kevin Brooks both represented Wisconsin, and even though he's a senior, Kevin tells WTMJ that this is just his first year playing football.
I only had 1 year of film and be able to come here and play. It's really important to me.
The two played at AT&T Bank Stadium on Monday and were very grateful for the opportunity to showcase their skills and represent Wisconsin. Joe tells WTMJ,
Wisconsin has athletes, and it's not just the southern schools.
Joe is a junior at Brown Deer High School, and Kevin is a senior at Riverside High School. Julian Johnson, WTMJ News.
Joe was named a 3-star athlete at the Combine before the game. Time for news about your money now in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 126 points, NASDAQ is up 81, and the S&P 500 is up 18. It's a great time for your retirement and investment strategy review from a fee-only fiduciary. Go to annexwealth.com and click the Get Started button now. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:04.
This report is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
It's the last resort that comes with a grueling and painful recovery. And from what I've been told, it never really feels quite natural. A total knee replacement may make the pain you're living with eventually go away, but it opens up a Pandora's box of other possible issues. And that's why surgeons who really do care will tell you that it's a last resort. There are other surgeons who cry, "Replace! Replace!" But the physicians you'll find at Rejuvenix are primarily concerned with relief. And you may find out that the relief we give you helps so much so that you may not need to get that total knee replacement. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics. Our FDA-approved pain treatments aid inflammation and lubricate your joints. And in most cases, insurance has been shown to cover the costs. At Rejuvenex, we can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Natural gas is a clean, reliable, and convenient source of energy delivered directly to you through underground pipelines. The pipeline system has an excellent safety record, but there are clues that can help you identify a potential hazard. If you smell the strong odor of rotten eggs, hear an unusual hissing sound, or see blowing dirt or debris, it could be a natural gas leak. Leave the area immediately and call We Energies at 800-261-5325.
We Energies. People you can trust. Energy you can depend on.
Losing sleep lately? The job, the house, the headlines, or investments? How about the feeling your investment partner isn't a partner at all? They might be operating in someone's best interest, but that someone isn't you. It's time for Annex Wealth Management. It's easy. Head to annexwealth.com, click the Get Started button. We work in your best interest as a fiduciary. That commitment runs so deep, we'd put it in writing. Does your advisor do that? Know the difference with Annex Wealth Management. Start at annexwealth.com.
It's Wheels Up in Green Bay today as the Packers are set to head out to California ahead of their Saturday night showdown against the 49ers. A task and a game quarterback Jordan Love knows won't be an easy one.
It's a great challenge for us. They're a really good defense. They got a really good offense as well, so they're a great team all around. So we definitely got a great challenge ahead of us, and we're looking forward to it.
The Packers did hold a practice on Thursday. Jair Alexander, A.J. Dillon, linebacker Isaiah McDuffie, all questionable ahead of tomorrow night's game. Punter Daniel Whelan, also questionable with an illness. Kickoff set for Saturday night at 7:15. The UWM Panthers' two-game win streak came to an abrupt end on Thursday as they fall to Northern Kentucky on the road. This one by a final of 90-72. And lastly, the Wisconsin Badgers will look to get back into the win column tonight after their road loss to Penn State earlier in the week. The 11th-ranked Badgers set to host Indiana tonight in Madison. Tip-off set for 7:30. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Take a look at the roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. There were a couple of crashes that are now cleared. One was I-94 eastbound at Highway 83. All lanes reopened there, as well as I-41 northbound at the I-94 westbound interchange. All lanes are open there as well. Just some minor slowing right now. The construction area, I-43 southbound Brown Deer Road to downtown. WTMJ 5-day forecast. It's going to be breezy today with a high of 16. Should clear up tonight with an overnight low of 4, with winds out of the northwest gusting to about 25 miles an hour. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high 17. 22 on Sunday, sunshine. Monday, mostly cloudy with a mix of rain and snow late with a high 35. And snow, rain, maybe even some freezing rain on Tuesday with a high of 37. Madison's at 2, Green Bay 9, Milwaukee 11 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, Sighting Unlimited WTMJ News Time 10:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Happy Friday, everybody. Yes, that's me. And you. You took the time to tune in. How about that first hour with Bill and Joe? That was killer, as they say. As the kids say, killer. Charlie's looking at me like, nobody says that anymore. Do the kids not say that, killer? No. Is that
not like that.
No, yeah, probably not like I say it. Like old white guys saying it like that? No. Maybe someone else says it the right way. Anyway, I this first story is just because I want to torment the Dallas Cowboys as much as possible. So we all know what happened last week. The Packers just blew them off the map. The football map. 48-32, and it wasn't that close. Even though 16 points is a big margin of victory for a team that was more than a touchdown underdog. Did you hear the latest part of this, though? The Dallas Cowboys, I think Charlie has actually a little bit of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders say the Packers players disrespected them, bringing them to the verge of tears. Let's hear that.
The Cowboys versus Packers game last Sunday, I have never experienced such disrespect from the other team's players to the cheerleaders in my 5 years as an NFL cheerleader. Like, we would literally be minding our own business, and the Packers just scored a touchdown. This is one example. they would come up to us, standing on the sidelines, mind your own business, and start yelling at us. Like, sometimes it was this close to our face. Also, I feel like that's unsportsmanlike conduct, and it's so crazy how they can do that. They can't do that to the Cowboys players or any other players, but they can do it to the cheerleaders, and nothing's going to happen.
Okay, is that not the most cliched cheerleader voice you've ever heard? Oh, my God. They got right in our face and yelled at us. Okay, first of all, you're a cheerleader. I got nothing against cheerleaders. My wife was a cheerleader. Captain of the cheerleaders in high school. Nothing against cheerleaders. I think the Packers screwed up when they got rid of the cheerleaders. We used to have the UWGB and the St. Norbert cheerleaders every game. Bring them back, Packers. Big fan of cheerleaders. I'm not a big fan of this stuff, though. This whining. You're mad because your team lost. You probably should be mad because you're a professional cheerleader, but that's a whole other conversation for another day. There's certainly workforce issues that you could probably tap into. You're good looking for the most part. You're athletic. You're smart, I think. So when I hear stuff like this, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is a thing now? Your team lost. Get over it. The thing about being a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader, the season is not the end of your season. Other teams, that's it. You're done. Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, they make appearances. They're on the road. They're on talk shows. It's like a full-time job. Aren't they the gold standard of cheerleaders? And I will say to this young woman, you got to get over yourself. And look, if the Packers players went too far, which I don't know, and we're just taking her word for it. I don't know if there's been a official Packers comments. Yeah, we were busting up on the cheerleaders. We gave them a hard time. So what? They're cheerleaders. It's part of football, right? Fans give each other hard times, right? Packers fans and Cowboys fans. This week it'll be Packers fans and San Francisco 49er fans. That's part of the sports fandom. Cheerleaders, if you're on the field, you're going to be a part of that whole excitement, enthusiasm, cheering and jeering, so to speak. So for the young lady, the cheerleader for the Dallas Cowboys, I got to give you the Justin Fields treatment because this is really all I got to say about it. Sounds like this. There you go. That's too easy, right? That's too easy to just play the cry music. The whole thing's dumb to me. You're a cheerleader for a pro football team. I'm guessing you're pretty highly paid to be a cheerleader. Now, one of the texters says, why do we even have cheerleaders? That's a good question. And I would argue, I don't know the actual numbers. I would say that probably most, if not all, the other teams besides the Packers have cheerleaders. I'm not aware of one other team that doesn't have cheerleaders. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. If you know and you're a fan of another team that doesn't have cheerleaders, let me know on the old text line, WTMJ, talk and text line 855-616-1620. We're going to get on some other stuff, but the whole cheerleader thing, it's kind of an amazing dynamic. Everyone's got to have complaints, right? You've got to be mad about something. You're a cheerleader. You're well paid. You're playing in the most high-profile stadium in the NFL. Your season doesn't end when the team's season ends. Get over yourself. Quick break.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Hey, WTMJ's John Mercure here. Join me Saturdays at noon for Experience Wisconsin, where we check in with communities across the state and businesses in Wisconsin for the best and brightest spots. This week, a couple of great guests. We'll check in with Elkhart Lake and Rhinelander.
Almond County Park is such a beautiful place to go and snowshoe. It's really beautiful up here in the Northwoods.
It's Experience Wisconsin, Saturday at noon right here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Heiser Automotive. You know I love talking about Heiser, and I can't wait to tell you about my great experience with the 2023 Ford Explorer XLT. It's the perfect vehicle for this time of year, right? With all their crazy winter weather. It's a gorgeous color, too, by the way. It's a beautiful Atlas blue metallic color, which is very popular now in the Ford models. It's got a great technology built in, 10-speed automatic, great gas mileage, 23, 24 city highway MPG, which is great for an SUV. It's got a lot of room, 3 rows of seating. You could have 7 people in this thing. It's got all the great programs, all the great features that Heiser offers. I've told you about them before. Safe and sound, right? On all their new and pre-owned vehicles. Vehicle exchange, don't love it? Exchange it. Roadside assistance for life. Never be left hanging out there. And the great thing about Heiser, their inventory never been better. Lots of vehicles, pre-owned and new, you can check out in person at one of their 5 great locations or online at Heiser.com. That's why they say every day, today's your day.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Chris and Tim closed their first loan with Accunet $116,000 ago in terms of the median sales price in southeastern Wisconsin. We helped their daughter buy a home earlier this year, and now we're helping them buy their retirement condo. We're told there were 3 offers, 2 cash offers, and Chris and Tim's offer backed up by an Accunet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. All 3 offers were probably over the asking price, but we're surmising Chris and Tim's offer was the highest because when the sellers asked the listing broker if they could count on the offer with the pre-approval letter, the answer was simply, Accunet really does their homework. It's not easy to beat a cash offer over the asking price, but that's exactly what Tim and Chris did with some help from their trusted family mortgage lender. If you don't think the lender's name on your pre-approval letter matters, think again. It's still a seller's market in the Badger State, so click on the blue button at Accunet.com today to get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
WTMJ Now.
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be cowboys.
Cheerleaders.
Don't let them be Vikings, Bears, Lions, or Bucks. Make them be Packer linebackers.
Oh, I can't say any better than that. Yes, big Packers game this Saturday. We have a special guest today as we've been featuring Packers content all week, and this is going to be a good one. Excited. He's a comedian. He's a Packers fan. He has a Packers, I think it's called the Packcast. He will join us in the 11 o'clock hour, I believe. So we're gonna kind of wind it up to the weekend. I love this Saturday night game. This is like the best, right? You can enjoy it. You don't have to wake up early, most of us, in the next day. Hopefully celebrating a victory. But even if we don't, even if we just play well, it's like, all right, we've got ourselves in good position for next year. We know the Bears are going to be crying about stuff. Now, I can tell you, I'm going to move on in a second here, but the text line kind of exploded on this. And I will admit I was wrong. Apparently there's like 8 or 9 teams that don't have cheerleaders. And Charlie looked them up. Mostly cold weather places, though, so that makes sense. And I'm getting different answers, 8, 9. Sam, who's a big fan of the show, Fridays especially. Bills, Bears, Browns, Giants, Jets, Chargers, Steelers, and the Packers. And the Packers, in the COVID pandemic era, dumped their cheerleaders, which used to be, as those of us who go to games knew, was the UWGB and St. Norbert cheerleaders, who did a fantastic job. And I don't believe they were paid either. So a different case. And somebody said on the text line, Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and I don't know if this is true or not, $75,000 a year, which is not bad for being a cheerleader. Now, there's probably a lot more to it than that. Again, don't hate cheerleaders. Don't hate anybody. Just saying, you're going to get yelled at. You're going to get screamed at. It's part of the ambiance, if you want to use that term, of being in an NFL stadium. I don't think anybody attacked you. No one punched you in the face. They didn't threaten your life. They were excited because they just whipped up on your old Cowboys in their home stadium. From the 262, my husband and I were just talking about what NFL teams have cheerleaders because I laughed out loud when I just watched them during the Dallas game. In this day and age, they look ridiculous. I think there's a lot of people that agree with that, but it's almost like if you say that, then you're being, misogynistic, right? You're like attacking women. If they want to be cheerleaders, knock yourself out, be cheerleaders. And it's a big part of the Dallas Cowboys mystique. I get it. Just don't be so sensitive. Get over yourself. All right, we're going to switch gears here because I wanted to talk about this. And I have not talked about, and don't change the stations because I'm talking about COVID. I think it's an interesting discussion to have. Let me pitch it to you, and then we can see where it goes. So one of the things that I've observed as somebody who talks on the radio about COVID is we have the initial, there's phases, right? Initial, we don't know what the heck this thing is, right? We had the nursing home story out west, New York State, city, unbelievable number of cases. As much as people like to say it's the flu, it's not the flu. We saw our age of death in this country decline like 2 years during the pandemic. Not a coincidence. You can blame it on other things, but you would be wrong. It definitely related to the COVID pandemic. And as somebody who's involved with a cemetery, we had one family that had 3 members die of COVID in a very short period of time. Know what that feels like, and every time I see the remaining member of that household, I feel that pain. Set that aside. That was the early part of the pandemic. Then we had the school closing, very controversial. I'm the first one to say way too far, went way too far down the road of let's close everything, let's teach the kids at home. Did incredible damage to our educational system and to the kids, and including some psychological impacts that we're still dealing with today, especially when you read stories that young people are hurting themselves. That's serious. That's something that we should pay attention to. So definitely an overreach. And then we kind of got into this, the whole thing was made up stage. And I've dealt with this on the radio, on the show, away from the show. It's all baloney, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to die, even though, as I said, the age of death in this country, that rate declined by 2 years in a very short amount of time. Not a coincidence. And the last phase, which is what I want to get to right now, and you can join the conversation at 855-616-1620, the old National Bank talking text line. It's the Monday morning quarterback, for lack of a better term. I knew everything at the beginning, and I'm really smart now about COVID and medicine and vaccines and just basically everything that there is to know about COVID and how a country deals with a pandemic. And I hear this all the time, especially away from the show. I told you this was nothing, even though it was something. And as I said, rate of deaths in this country skyrocketed for a couple of years. And just to put the modern spin on it, COVID infections are actually on the rise. Which leads me to my big points. And I'm generally not a fan of politicians in the first place, but I'm generally really not a fan of politicians who pretend they're medical experts. And we have some great examples of that, and I don't have to name their names. You know who they are. They are now medical experts. They promote drugs and treatments that are often not just wrong, but dangerous. Ivermectin comes to mind. So I heard this clip from a candidate for office, the highest office, president, from Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. This is directly addresses the kind of the revisionist phase, which I was just talking about, of how we look at COVID. He's right on one thing, but then he gets the next piece really wrong.
They lied to us about the COVID shots. Remember, they said if you take a COVID shot, you will not get COVID. How true was that? Not at all. Now, every booster you take, you're more likely to get COVID as a result of it. And they would never talk about any type of side effects. I mean, think about this. Any pharmaceutical that is put on the market when they run these commercials, it's like the first 30 seconds of the commercial, it's like usually like a married couple, probably like 60 to 65, just walking on the beach or wherever, laughing, having fun because of this miracle drug, right? And then the next 30 seconds is like, you could die, heart attack, this, stroke, and they list all the possible side effects because they're covering their rear end. But yet when the mRNA shots came out, they said with a very short lead time, oh, yeah, no problem. You can't have any questions. And that's just not the way these things go.
A little bit of Ron DeSantis there. Look, were there overstatements, overpromises on vaccines? Absolutely. But what's happened is these kinds of diatribes have actually impacted all vaccines and people's willingness to get their kids vaccinated or even adults vaccinated. For a lot of things, flu, shingles, RSV, certainly COVID. But that last piece, if you're going to be a candidate for president of the United States, a serious candidate, and we'll find out if he's going to be a serious candidate or not, because the next few races probably will, as we learned in the 9 o'clock hour, will probably decide this race for Republican. There's no evidence, matter of fact, it's a misstatement, that getting the vaccine for COVID gives you a greater chance of getting COVID. Nobody says that. Why did he say it? It doesn't give you a greater chance of getting COVID. Your chance of getting COVID is whatever your chance is. Are you in high-risk situations? That increases your risk. Have you been vaccinated? That can, in some cases, increase your risk. If you have pre-existing conditions, a low immune system, those can increase your risk. But getting the vaccine has nothing to do with increasing the likelihood of getting COVID. So again, All of this stuff is dangerous, and this is why, and this is what I'm asking you about, 855-616-1620, the WTMJ talking text line. I've just about had enough of politicians pretending they're medical experts. He got it wrong. Ron DeSantis did. And I'm going to call him out on it. And that's not blowing up his candidacy in favor of another person. I have no expectation that at this moment that Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, or anybody else is going to be the nominee. I think it's going to be Donald Trump. Do I like that? No. And I've told you why. But at least get the basic stuff right. And again, I give him credit. There were people who promised that if you got the vaccine, you wouldn't get COVID. And we know that's not true. We do know that if you got the vaccine, you're less likely to die in a hospital. That is true. I'm not arguing about COVID. That's done with. It was a pandemic. People died. Life expectancy dropped. Directly relatable to the COVID pandemic. Not a coincidence, not an accident, not anything, but that's. And if you look at a couple places in this country, absolutely horrific results. New York City, New York State, and other places. 855-616-1620, the WTMJ talking text line. What do you think? Should politicians shut the hell up, or should they be allowed to say outright misstatements as part of their campaign? I don't think so. I don't like it. We'll discuss after this.
More of WTMJ now after this. Wisconsin's Morning News.
Former Chancellor Gao is on the line with us, the Tri-County Contracting Hotline this morning.
Listen to Vince Vetrano every weekday starting at 6 a.m.
My first question for you is, are you surprised that the board took this action, given how very public that activity was?
But we don't identify ourselves as being affiliated with the university or my role as chancellor. Those things are done as private citizens.
Only here on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ. Hey,
it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, hopefully doesn't have mold and mildew, but we all seen that, right? Broken tiles, ugly, ugly, ugly. You got to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with the best world-class customer experience. Listen to this. Elevate your bathroom to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Schedule a free in-home estimate today, right today. Get $1,000 off your new shower or bath. Plus, get this, 36 months of interest-free financing. 36 months. TheBathAuthority.com. Simple as that. BathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
NBA All-Star Voting presented by AT&T is open now. The league's brightest stars will be heading to Indianapolis to do battle in an East-West showdown.
The stars are out early tonight.
Be a part of the team that picks the teams. Vote to help send your favorite players to NBA All-Star 2024, and you can join them in Indy. Each vote with your NBA ID enters you for a chance to win a trip to All-Star 2024. And on select days, your vote counts 3 times. Vote on the NBA app or at nba.com/vote today.
The special Milwaukee Auto Show Advanced Discount Ticket Offer has been extended to January 21st. Turns out a lot of people want to come to the auto show. Get your auto show tickets now at a big discount. Buy a single ticket, or how about a pair of tickets for date night? Or you can buy a family 4-pack and take everybody. They can see all the latest vehicles, including cars, trucks, SUVs, luxury cars, and much more. For advanced discount tickets, go to autoshowmilwaukee.com. That's autoshowmilwaukee.com.
We asked people why they sold their homes to Grandview Homes instead of using a real estate agent.
We needed to sell Mom's home quickly and with a company we could rely on.
No showings, no closing costs, no staging, no real estate agent fees, no added stress.
Whether you have a hard-to-sell home, want a stress-free sale, or simply need to sell your home fast, Grandview Homes is the name you know and the name you can trust. Visit GrandviewHomes.com to discover the easiest and fastest way to sell a home.
It's WTMJ Now.
Jordan Love, will he star for the Packers on set? I think so. I think he's excited about this young Packers team. As I said, playoff gravy, bonus football. We have to love that idea. And whatever happens, mad respect to this team, this organization, for doing something I didn't even think was possible, and most people did. They're going to the divisional round of the playoffs with the youngest team in the league and one of the youngest ever. That is an incredible accomplishment, and I am optimistic about Saturday. Lucky bounce here or there, you never know. We've beaten them in games where we were 9.5-point underdogs before. Previous editions of the Packers. We'll see what happens Saturday. Let's go to the phone lines. I'm basically asking the question, have you heard enough from politicians pretending to be medical experts? Let's go to Lamar from Orlando, Florida. Hey, Lamar.
Hey, Steve. First of all, I am super geeked about the Packers winning last week. I just want to throw it out there.
Wasn't that great?
And I hope that we keep it rolling.
Yeah,
it was. And I'm married into a family that's big. They're all Cowboy fans. In fact, most of my church is Cowboys fans, so I can't wait to go to church. I'm starting to wear my Packers jersey.
There you go.
But in any event, Ron DeSantis got lucky, and I'm going to say he got lucky. He guessed right with keeping us open during the pandemic because it was a novel virus. We didn't know a lot. And he got lucky and made the right calls.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and as a result, he thinks he knows everything. Ron DeSantis is a poster child for, number one, having the supermajority, winning the election by the margin that he did, and he just thinks he's right about everything, and I hate it. He governs, in my opinion, the easiest state to govern. We don't have any state income tax. We have no problem drawing people for tourism. We have no problem drawing people to move into the state. And he's just fumbling the ball. I wish he would just shut up, as you would say, shut the hell up. And I'm tired of hearing this guy thinking he knows everything, and he does not.
Yeah, he's your governor. And my problem is when elected officials or candidates say things that are outright not true, and they just get away with it. It just drives me nuts, Lamar.
You and me both. And again, he's a victim of his own success. His Republican supermajority down here. He won the last election by a landslide, and he thinks that as a result, I can do and say what I want to say, and no one's going to hold him accountable. I'm grateful that we have term limits here in Florida, so I don't have to deal with him much longer. But again, he's a victim of his own success, and he's kind of falling. He's kind of tripping over himself because his head's gotten so big.
Always great to talk to you, Lamar. Have a great rest of your weekend. Sam, loyal friend of the show from McHenry. Hey, Sam.
Hey, how you doing today, Steve?
Good to talk to you.
Well, yeah, same here. Well, I'll tell you this. If the government wants to be making mandates about this stuff, saying you can't get on a plane or you can't do this or that, you're going to hear politicians talking about it, whether you like it or not, because they've made it a voting issue. But I would like to – my main point is when all of this started and Donald Trump was the president, he was trying to get this vaccine through, the Democrats didn't waste 1 second on criticizing Trump that, no, this will never work because it takes too long to develop these vaccines. They got to go through testing, research, design, certifications through the FDA. Oh, they just went on and on and on. And when Joe Biden finally showed up, suddenly they just loved it. They thought this vaccine was the greatest thing on the planet. They promoted it. They mandated it. Biden was there rolling up a sleeve, getting a jab. And now the southern border is wide open. They already have made connections with tuberculosis and measles. None of these people are vaccinated. We don't know where they come from. We don't know what they got in them. That has been documented already. Nothing said about that.
I will concede.
We're going to sit and bad rap Ron DeSantis. I don't understand where we're going here, Steve.
My point was this, and I focused. I gave him credit for keeping the schools open. I think that was an important thing that a lot of states screwed up, including Wisconsin. But you can't, as somebody who wants to be president, you can't say things that aren't true. And saying that you have a greater likelihood to get COVID if you've got the vaccine is just simply not true. And that's where I make a separation there. I know candidates, Sam, say a lot of crazy things, and I do agree with you. Trump was beat up for a lot of the things he did with the vaccine, but he got the vaccine out there. And he took the shot, too, by the way, which is sort of an interesting, ironic twist to the story. Both him and Biden both got the shot, and they both got COVID. So take that for what it's worth.
You see my point, though.
I do.
We got to be consistent then, too, because they want to mandate it. They want to say you're not going to go here unless you show your vax card. You're not going to get on a cruise ship. You're not going to do this. Well, then it's going to be an issue that candidates are running on. And there has been a lot of people that have picked up COVID after being vaccinated. So that makes Fauci wrong now. So, I don't know. Maybe we'd be better off not even to talk about COVID anymore, like you said in your opening statement, because there's just too many variables with it, and I don't know if we're ever going to agree on it.
All right. Always great to talk to you, Sam. Sam calling from McHenry, Illinois. He's a passionate guy. That's why I love Sam when he calls. I don't have to agree with him on everything, but I think he is right. Trump got beat up a little too much for the guy who's in administration actually saw the developments of the vaccine that I think saved lives, my opinion. All right, we'll take a break here. You're listening, of course, to WTMJ Now on a Friday in not too chilly Wisconsin with a little light snow on the ground. It's 10:35. Quick break here. You can still call the show if you like, 855-616-1620. What do you think? Should we just leave COVID alone, forget about it, not care what the elected officials and candidates say? I disagree, but you can argue that point after this.
It's WTMJ Now.
It's the last resort that comes with a grueling and painful recovery. And from what I've been told, it never really feels quite natural. A total knee replacement may make the pain you're living with eventually go away, but it opens up a Pandora's box of other possible issues. And that's why surgeons who really do care will tell you that it's a last resort. There are other surgeons who cry, "Replace! Replace!" But the physicians you'll find at Rejuvenex are primarily concerned with relief. And you may find out that the relief we give you helps so much so that you may not need to get that total knee replacement. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics. Our FDA-approved pain treatments aid inflammation and lubricate your joints. And in most cases, insurance has been shown to cover the costs. At Rejuvenex, we can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we've represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Milwaukee attorneys. 111 East Kilbourne Avenue, Suite 1650, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202.
My doctor told me my blood pressure is borderline. I figured I could worry about it or do something about it. So I took control with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula. It works safely and naturally to help maintain healthy blood pressure with a custom blend of garlic, vitamins, and minerals. And it's odor-free. I'm taking charge with Garlic Healthy Blood Pressure Formula.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. The term natural references only the garlic in the product. Use as directed.
WTMJ Now.
The COVID wars continue. It's never gonna be something that we forget about. I certainly haven't talked about it in weeks, maybe months. But I saw that comment, and we played it for you, of candidates, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis saying that getting the shot, the vaccine, or boosters makes it more likely to get COVID. It's simply not true, and I wasn't going to let him get away with it. Richard joins us from Illinois. Hey, Richard, welcome to the show. Happy Friday.
Hey, Steve, same to you. My call is kind of in rebuttal to my Illinois cohort, Sam from McHenry.
Okay.
We never agree. We never agree on anything.
That's all right.
I personally do. I know. Oh, absolutely. I personally do not recall Democrats railing against the production of the vaccine. I really don't. And then his final statement about so many people get the shot and they still get COVID. And I hate when people say that, because the idea of the vaccine is so you don't die from COVID, not
right.
so you don't get it.
Right.
And I just wonder, I just wonder how many of the great Trump followers actually injected themselves with bleach, like he said that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, that was the crazy part of all that stuff, and that's why I think what elected officials say, Richard, matters. And when you tell people things that are outright falsehoods, that's dangerous. And we've sort of let politicians and elected officials get away with it, and I don't want to, because it is dangerous.
I don't either.
There's a reason life expectancy dropped during the COVID pandemic. It wasn't a coincidence. It didn't happen by accident. It wasn't something else. It was COVID. And now we're starting to see a rebound. Surprise, surprise, we developed a vaccine that reduced the likelihood that you were going to die of COVID. So at least let's get the basic facts right, Richard, so we can get on with the rest of the stuff that we're trying to fix.
And Steve, go Pack, go. Have a good weekend.
All right, thank you, Richard. I think we're all saying that. Even somebody from two guys from Illinois. I didn't ask. Maybe I should ask Sam. I don't know if Sam send me a text if you follow football or not. If Sam is a Bears fan, I'm going to have to reevaluate. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Looks like, is it Margaret from Nashotah?
That's correct.
All right. Good morning. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, too.
So what do you think about all this?
First of all, I don't think politicians should be talking medical and giving advice. I also think that the school systems, it was not wrong to close them down at the beginning. Excuse me. Nobody knew what COVID was going to do to children. So err on the safe side until you get more data. I think a lot of people don't understand that the reason that rules kept changing about COVID is that you needed more information. And then as you got more data, then you could change the instructions.
I think that's right, Margaret. I think we had to understand what we were dealing with, and I want to be clear on my thoughts. Yes, close the schools at the beginning made absolute sense. My question was keeping them closed for as long as we did. I think that got to be problematic, and we've seen that unfortunately play out with issues with learning, issues with the psychiatric problems we're seeing with some of our young people, including kids cutting themselves. There was a lot to that, and that's why. Again, you don't know what you don't know, and you have to figure these things out. But I think from a former nurse perspective, I think you laid it out perfectly. You have to assess continually, not just one assessment at the beginning, and then you make all your decisions. You have to kind of look at what the latest data says, how it's manifesting in the population. I think you're exactly right on that, Margaret.
And if people are confused about the boosters, the reason you get a vaccine is so that you don't end up in the hospital.
Right.
That's where you get, yes, you can get COVID, but it will not put you into the ICU. It's definitely worth getting the boosters.
All right. Are you a Packers fan, Margaret?
I am now, even though I came from Illinois.
There you go. You're a convert. That's even better. Well, go Pack, go, and thanks for this. Thanks for the smart. I didn't mean to cut you off, Margaret. We got to get to break here, but thanks for the smart response. I got mad love for the nurses. I always say they often do more work than the doctors do, and I love doctors as well. But Margaret's been on the show before. I love the professional perspective, and it actually plays well into what I was saying. Don't come at me with all your COVID theories. If you don't have a medical background, you don't know what you're talking about in most cases. That's why I had people like Dr. Mary Beth Graham on the show and some of the other experts, subject matter experts I had on, because I want people that actually work in that world of infectious diseases, know what they're talking about. You know, all the people that hate Dr. Fauci, was he perfect? No. Do I think he should be criminally charged? Are you crazy? Those are really tough jobs. You don't know everything. You do your best using your experience and your knowledge to figure things out. And this Monday morning quarterback that happens far too often in the current political climate is frankly just a waste of time. And the worst part about that is not just a waste of time, it's dangerous for people who suffer the consequences of outright misstatements or falsehoods. That's the risk. Quick break.
More of WTMJ now after this.
Meet Alan, who was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
I was what they call a mouth breather, and I would breathe at night with my mouth open.
And for about 8 years, Alan struggled with a CPAP machine. And then
I saw the Advent commercial, and I thought, well, what do you got to lose? This machine is miserable.
For most people, CPAP machines are miserable, but a simple breathing triangle solution from Advent can be life-changing.
And it really was, to me, it was amazing because I don't think I ever breathed that clear.
This is Dr. Buthan Kandula. After having one of Advent's simple breathing triangle procedures, people are amazed at how freely and clearly they can breathe.
I'm happy with the procedure. I'm very glad I did. I wish I would have done it 20 years ago. I could have avoided that machine I had to have laying next to the bed with the hose wrapped around my head.
Schedule your appointment at AdventKnows.com because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Universal Windows Direct. Are you cold in your home? all this cold weather? Are you suffering through one more winter in a cold and drafty home? That doesn't have to be your reality. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Listen to this. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. For every 2 windows you buy, you get 2 free. 2 for 2. Also, free upgrade to triple pane glass, the best way to keep that cold out. And, oh, by the way, they'll double your energy tax credit. That's cool. And if you tell them I told you to call, additional $250 off your project. $250 off your project if you tell them Scaffidi sent you. For the last windows you'll ever need. Seriously, go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Call today. Get an estimate, free in-home estimate. And you'll be saying, like me, I love my windows.
Looking for some winter magic? Head to Lake Geneva for the 29th Annual Winterfest and U.S. National Snow Sculpting Championship. Watch and wonder as 15 of the best snow sculpting teams in the country create larger-than-life masterpieces right before your very eyes. Enjoy bonfires and s'mores on the beach and live entertainment. Explore the downtown ice sculpture walk, featuring over 40 beautiful ice sculptures. Don't miss Lake Geneva's Winterfest, January 31st through February 4th. Learn more at visitlakegeneva.com.
Spas! The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend only to the Wisconsin State Fair Cream Puff Pavilion. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% off retail. This weekend only at the Wisconsin State Fair Cream Puff Pavilion.
Sun, fun. Sun.
Boaters, this is your show. The Milwaukee Boat Show at State Fair Park. Over 300 boats, family runabouts, ski and surf boats, luxury pontoons, more Lake Michigan boats than ever. Tierra, Beneteau, Pursuit, Cruisers, Sea Ray, Boston Whaler, and more. We have the boats. See Twiggy the water skiing squirrel the second weekend. Check MilwaukeeBoatShow.com January 19th through 28th. Closed Monday and Tuesday.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
WTMJ Now.
Thinking you can't be with the one you love, honey. Love the one you're with.
We got you, Jordan Love. We got you back. Looking forward to the game Saturday night against the San Francisco 49ers. I predict them to win, but what do I know? Just a talk show host. I want to give the texters on the WTMJ Talk and Text line some credit because there's a lot of different commentary, and we had some great calls as well. And thanks to Margaret. Margaret's getting a lot of love. Go Margaret. I agree with Margaret from the text line, since a lot of people want to voice their opinions based on hindsight. That was the key sort of dazzling detail what I was talking about. People like to think that what they know now is what they knew then. That's not the reality. We didn't know, which is why some extreme measures were put in place at the beginning of the pandemic. You can dispute that, but that's the facts. From the WTMJ Talk and Text line, we have learned a lesson. But why do we have to bash it? Hindsight is 20/20 to that point. I wish the people that are backing Trump use some hindsight to make their choice instead of just avoiding reality and staying brainwashed. Sort of a political commentary there. From the 414, it's not the politicians saying incorrect info. They only repeat what advisors tell them. So to me, it's the politicians' judgment picking the advisors, giving them incorrect info. They got to be smarter than that. If that's what it is, be smarter than that. What Ron DeSantis said, the second part, about making it more likely you got COVID if you had the vaccine or boosters is simply not true. And for him to say that out loud is almost disqualifying. Because if you can't get the basic stuff right, why would I trust you with the hard stuff? This from the 847. Ron DeSantis is wrong. No responsible official, including Fauci, ever said the vaccine is 100% effective. Moderna and Pfizer's vaccines showed about 95% efficacy for prevention of COVID, is what health professionals said. That's also posted on the NIH website, Pfizer site, Moderna site, and others. Jim from Economwalk, exactly right. 414. Remember in schools there were also adults that worked there, not just children. Employees were also worried about their exposure and also what they might bring to their household. And not to scare you, there's sort of a new variant out there that is spiking the numbers. And I know a lot of people like to pretend COVID went away. It hasn't gone away. It's still out there. Now, I'm fully vaccinated and boosted. I feel fine. I've never had COVID. And I asked Dr. Mary Beth Graham from Freighter this question, the medical college, this question one time. There's a number of us. It's a pretty small number. It might be less than 10% now. For whatever reason, maybe it's what we've experienced in our life related to viruses and bacteria, but we may never get COVID. And I count myself lucky. My wife's the same way. Both of us fully vaccinated and boosted. And I've been on crowded airplanes, on long trips overseas, international countries around the world. I've been in stadiums. I've been sitting next to and face-to-face with people that have tested positive for COVID the next day. So I've been exposed to it in a lot of different ways. I have faith in medical professionals. I think you should too. From the 414, I'm encouraged by the people that have called in. Politicians are making statements on medical or otherwise topics they are unqualified to make, but they think will build support for their candidacy or to maintain a wedge issue with the opposite party. It's hurting us as a country. They need to stop. That's a great way to wrap it, because I think that's right. Politicians and candidates are emboldened in a way they've never been before. I call it the Trump effect. You can call it whatever you want. Saying things that are outlandish, outright misstatements, outright falsehood, outright lies. We'll squeeze Tom in before the break. Hey, Tom, calling from New Berlin. Hey, Tom, happy Friday.
Hi. Yeah, as far as politicians talking about various topics, I'm on air, right?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, a good politician takes the advice of the experts, because a good politician, there's so many areas out there, whether it's climatology or infectious diseases, pollution, business, the stock market. They don't say they're a know-it-all, because even somebody, for example, that's an expert on climatology is not an expert on infectious diseases. So a politician like DeSantis and Trump, because Trump argued with Fauci, Trump said, I'm not going to wear a mask, and the masks do make a difference, or you won't have scientists worldwide saying that you should wear a mask. Those are not good politicians. A politician takes the advice of the experts, no matter what the topic is.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Thanks for the call, Tom. I'm glad we got that in. Look, I love this little point about just because you're a climate expert doesn't mean you're an expert on infectious diseases. That's exactly right. But I know this. Most politicians and elected officials are only generally experts about themselves. Not about science, not necessarily even about politics, certainly not history, as in the repeating things we should have learned from, or making the same mistake over and over again and not learning from it. So that's the reality. And I would advise politicians and elected officials, you want to be treated seriously as a candidate? Stop lying to people and stop saying things that aren't true. And Ron DeSantis knows better. At least he should. He's a Harvard graduate, for Pete's sakes. That used to mean something. But when you say something you know is not true for political reasons, it kind of takes the shine off that, the luster off that diploma. My opinion. Quick break.
More of WTMJ now after this. Your weekly Bucks breakdown is back.
They want to win equally as bad as I do.
Bucks Weekly on WTMJ.
Now he joins a team where you have, as he has put it, the best player in the league.
And a new year brings new faces.
You'll see that I've gotten better year after year after year after year.
Get the latest news, analysis, and insight on your Milwaukee Bucks all season long. Bucks Weekly with Justin Garcia every Monday night at 8 on WTMJ. And catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. The Energy Star ratings for windows are getting a lot tougher to get the tax credit, so you're going to want to take advantage of. Fortunately, we still have options that will qualify you for those tax credits. Now, I can sit here and talk benefits of this product or what's great about that product. So can everybody else. But what a lot of operations can't do is, with complete confidence, stand behind the crew that's going to be on that next job. Talk is cheap, I get it, but our people are exceptional. How do I know? Because me and Vito handpick every single person that makes our team. Some make the cut, a lot don't. And that's why you can be confident that the windows we install for you will be top quality, installed right, and that you're going to get great service. And that's never failed us. So for your home's new windows, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
If you did not have your holiday company party in December, have it in January at the amazing Mineshaft restaurant in Hartford in their free party rooms. The food is super affordable and the huge game room adds so much fun. Reserve your date today. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
According to the U.S. debt clock, our debt is over $32 trillion and climbing. The question is, how do we pay it off? One of the most likely answers is increasing taxes. Now think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now when rates are historically low, or later when rates are potentially higher? At Drake & Associates, we can help you create a plan so your retirement is tax efficient as possible. If you'd like to continue your education, we have our Retirement Ready Toolkit, which includes guides on retirement tax savings. To receive this complimentary toolkit, call or text TAX to 414-409-9982. That's calling or texting TAX to 414-409-9982. When taxes go up, will you be ready? Call or text now.
Investment advisory services provided by Drake & Associates, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products are offered through a separate company, Loft Financial Advisory Group, LLC, a Wisconsin insurance agency. Clients are under no obligation to purchase any recommended insurance products.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ Now.
That'll warm me up on a Friday. How about that? But just because it's cold outside doesn't mean you can't be excited for boating in the new year. That's right, the Milwaukee Boat Show is coming to the Expo Center at State Fair Park in West Dallas from January 19th. Bring that music back up. I love that music. To the 22nd and 24th through the 28th. There you can see Skipper Bud's Showcase, where you can also enter to win an HO Sports Hawaii. That'll warm you up. Inflatable dock. If this floats your boat, so to speak. And I've got more news for you. We're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to the Milwaukee Boat Show all this week. Last chance to win. Caller number 5. Caller number 5 to 855. 616-1620. Call number 5, 855-616-1620. 4-pack of tickets to the Milwaukee Boat Show all this week. Today's the last chance. Good luck to caller number 5. And while I got your attention, big 11 o'clock hour coming. Libby Collins, a special Packers guest. Big playoff game, don't you know? Coming up Saturday night. I want to tell you about my Decision Wisconsin podcast. WTMJ's Decision Wisconsin podcast. It's an election year. You knew that already. RNC coming to Milwaukee. You knew that already. You might not have known that every Thursday and Tuesday, or Tuesday and Thursday, I should say, probably get them in order, you can listen to one of my new conversations with political, legal, strategist, experts on the All Things Politics podcast, Decision Wisconsin podcast. It's available at the WTMJ mobile app or wherever you get your podcast. Just put in WTMJ Decision Wisconsin. Got 2 good ones coming up next week as well. Lots of people saying, hey, love the podcast. It's 18 to 20 minutes, goes quick, no commercials. You will enjoy this week's second one with Charles Benson from TMJ4 and Mark Cass from our partners at the Milwaukee Business Journal. The Decision Wisconsin podcast on WTMJ.com. Stick around for the 11 o'clock hour. The news is next on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
If you have the January blues, brighten up your weekend with a great fish fry tonight at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Merck here. I love the Fox and Hounds, and that cod fish fry is all you care to eat. All other dinners are buy one, get one free, including the pan-fried walleye and steak and lobster. Desserts, and I love the desserts, and huge ice cream drinks are buy one, get one free. Was just in the Fox and Hounds with my family. They absolutely loved it. Sip on an old-fashioned, a Manhattan. Choose from one of the bourbons or 100 fine wines. The Fox and Hounds, right in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest. It is a one-of-a-kind gem. The holiday decorations are still up. Thousands of lights, the Christmas characters. It's so much fun. And those 7 wood-burning fireplaces will keep you warm on a cold January night. Saturday, buy one prime rib dinner. Get one free. I recommend the Sunday brunch. Top Choice Award winner for Best Sunday Brunch. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Just off Highway 167 near the Holy Hill Shrine. Enjoy your free dinner this weekend. It's the Fox and Hounds.
Shop the January New Year's sale on better quality furniture and mattresses at Ken Michaels Furniture.
Keeping you informed, keeping you safe, keeping you engaged and entertained. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning, 11 o'clock. We have 12 degrees, going to reach maybe 16 today at an overnight low tonight of 4. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Court this morning for 2 women accused of hate crimes, allegedly attacking 4 women in hijabs in Milwaukee's Cathedral Square Park last summer, allegedly punching them several times. 30-year-old Peyton Smith and 34-year-old Miracle Reed go to trial February 5th for the July 2023 incident. Scott Peterson, convicted in the 2004 murder of his 8 months pregnant wife and their unborn son, getting a new chance to prove his innocence. Details from CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti.
The Los Angeles Innocence Project, a legal nonprofit, is seeking new evidence in an effort to exonerate him.
Scott Peterson's defense has always been that it wasn't him.
CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson.
That their theory is that Scott Peterson did not murder his wife, but it was actually somebody else.
Peterson believes new DNA testing will help exonerate him. He was sentenced to death in 2005. Republican leaders in the state assembly say they'll continue to ignore GOP attempts to impeach the state's top elections official. Republican State Representative Janelle Brandtjen pushing for the impeachment resolution, but GOP Majority Leader Tyler August says there's no caucus support for it.
Our caucus is focused on real things, not grifting and not making a big show for the cameras, and that's all she's interested in doing.
During a floor session Thursday, Republican State Representative Scott Allen accused GOP leadership of abusing its power.
When a single member is ignored, when a member is not recognized, we disenfranchise nearly 60,000 Wisconsinites.
Allen calling on the Assembly Speaker Pro Tem to step down for abusing his power. Wisconsin Elections Commission Administrator Megan Wolf expected to remain in place through the November election. Vice President Kamala Harris will visit Waukesha County Monday as part of a nationwide tour campaigning for reproductive rights. Date of her appearance carries the significance of happening 51 years after the Roe v. Wade decision that legalized abortion nationwide before its subsequent repeal by the Supreme Court in 2022. Not known yet where Harris will speak or when she'll touch down at Milwaukee Mitchell International Airport. President Trump receiving support from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and other Republicans to be kept on Colorado's primary ballot. The brief signed by the supporters argues against the state Supreme Court decision to remove him for violating the 14th Amendment insurrection clause stemming from the 2021 Capitol riot. More than 40 Senate Republicans and 177 other congressional lawmakers are supporting Trump's effort. Crews working to repair a water main break 99th Street in West Allis between Lincoln and Betcher. The city says they'll be shutting down water service to make repairs, and 99th Street will also be closed while crews operate. Repairs should be completed by about 3 this afternoon. Nearly 60 deaths being blamed on severe weather across the country. Tennessee officials say at least 14 people died of weather-related causes during the last round of winter storms. More extreme cold expected in the central U.S. today, with forecasters warning of dangerous wind chills. In western New York, a woman was pretty upset when crews used her driveway as a dumping ground.
As the snow fell, 62-year-old Jana Andrasani looked out her window.
I just couldn't believe what I was seeing happening.
Crews clearing the street, dumping 6 feet of snow on her driveway.
I'm just upset that how could the city do this to me?
Andrasani says she doesn't have a car but has heart conditions. After being made aware by ABC TV affiliate WKBW, Lackawanna's public information officer Chuck Clark called it
clearly an oversight. We're sorry it happened.
The city removing the mountain of snow later that day. Dave Packer, ABC News.
The Dream All-American Bowl showcased the top 150 football prospects in the nation this past weekend. 2 of them were Wisconsin athletes.
The weekend event was held in Dallas, Texas. It included a combine and games played at AT&T Stadium. One Wisconsin athlete there was Browndale High School junior running back Joe Johnson. He tells WTMJ.
My biggest takeaway is that I have more work to do. I went in, closed eyes, didn't know what was going to happen. Persevered, and now I know what I have to work on. There's a lot of room for improvement.
Joe was named a 3-star athlete during the weekend, and he feels he did enough to represent Wisconsin.
Not many people from Wisconsin went. To represent our state was a good experience.
Julian Johnson, WTMJ News.
Joe says he's open to attending the annual event next year as well. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 134 points, 37,596. NASDAQ is up 95. The S&P 500 is up 2. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Financial planning at every level. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
This report is brought to you by Rejuvenix, your non-surgical joint therapy experts.
It's the last resort that comes with a grueling and painful recovery. And from what I've been told, it never really feels quite natural. A total knee replacement may make the pain you're living with eventually go away, but it opens up a Pandora's box of other possible issues. And that's why surgeons who really do care will tell you that it's a last resort. There are other surgeons who cry,
Replace! Replace!
but the physicians you'll find at Rejuvenex are primarily concerned with relief. And you may find out that the relief we give you helps so much so that you may not need to get that total knee replacement. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics. Our FDA-approved pain treatments aid inflammation and lubricate your joints. And in most cases, insurance has been shown to cover the costs. At Rejuvenex, we can alleviate your pain, and that'll rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
The next time they ask you what size tires you need, just go to richlawns.com.
That's Richlawn spelled with 2 N's.
No more trying to read that tiny writing on the side of your old tires or on the inside of your car door.
Just go to richlawns.com, click on the year button, then the make and model of your vehicle, and
the exact tire size you need.
In a multitude of brands and styles.
Yet all specific to your vehicle, because at Richlawns, there isn't a tire on the planet we can't get.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free flat tire repair, which means you're 100% covered, no questions asked.
The next time you're due for tire service, visit richlawns.com.
Because free flat tire repair automatically comes with every tire we install.
I'm Brett Matchke with Richlawns. You're due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
It's Wheels Up in Green Bay today as the Packers are set to head out to California ahead of their Saturday night showdown against the 49ers. A task and a game quarterback Jordan Love knows won't be an easy one.
You know, it's a great challenge for us. They're a really good defense, and they got a really good offense as well, so they're a great team all around. So we definitely got a great challenge ahead of us, and we're looking forward to it.
The Packers did hold a practice on Thursday. Jair Alexander, A.J. Dillon, linebacker Isaiah McDuffie, all questionable ahead of tomorrow night's game. Punter Daniel Whelan, also questionable with an illness. Kickoff set for Saturday night at 7:15. The UWM Panthers' 2-game win streak came to an abrupt end on Thursday as they fall to Northern Kentucky on the road. This one by a final of 90-72. And lastly, the Wisconsin Badgers will look to get back into the win column tonight after their road loss to Penn State earlier in the week. The 11th-ranked Badgers set to host Indiana tonight in Madison. Tip-off set for 7:30. I'm Brandon Snide, WTMJ Sports.
Take a look at your roads with your Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver traffic. There was a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane, I-41 east, about a third of a mile beyond the ramp from 60th Street. That has been cleared. Also, an earlier crash on I-41 northbound at I-94 westbound. All lanes are now open in that area as well.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
Be our eyes on the roads. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Mazda traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
WTMJ 5-day forecast. It's going to be breezy this afternoon with a high of 16, clearing up tonight with an overnight low of 4, sunny and 17 tomorrow, a little bit warmer on Sunday, sunshine with a high 22, cloudy on Monday with a mix of snow and rain with a high 35, and snow, maybe even some freezing rain on Tuesday, high of 37. Madison's at 4, Green Bay 9, Milwaukee 12 degrees. I'm Connie Weber, citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue, it's WTMJ Now. News, opinions, Wisconsin. Everything you need to know in the Badger State and beyond. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
That would be me, indeed. Yes, I am here on this Friday. Happy Friday, everybody. Day before the big playoff game against the 49ers. I'm watching a lot of coverage during the news hit there with Connie Weber. Thank you, Connie. Lots of excitement and optimism. Let's hope that carries through to the play on the field tomorrow night. All right, so I was looking forward to this conversation on Friday with my teammate, pal, Libby Collins. Hi, Libby.
Hey, Steve. All excited for the game tomorrow night?
I am. Regardless of what happens, this is bonus football for me, for our local team, and I'm thrilled as heck about that.
Exactly. And who would have thought back in September that we'd be where we are right now?
Not this guy.
Neither did I. So I think we all have a smile on our face, just the fact that they've gone, first of all, into the playoffs, and secondly, that they've gotten this far.
Absolutely. So I always look forward to our Friday conversations because I hear ahead of time who you're going to talk to on Sunday in the Conversations program on WTMJ. This is a good one this week.
Well, you know what, Steve? And, I've worked with a lot of police officers through the years, as I know you have. And what's interesting is so many of them are very stoic and keep their thoughts to themselves. But I have to tell you, Milwaukee Police Department's Assistant Police Chief Nicole Waldner is one of the most outgoing and really candid police officers I've ever talked with. And this was a real treat because, first of all, she grew up on the Northwest Side. And, we talk a little bit about her original aspirations when she was a kid, which was far from what you'd think a police officer would want to be. I mean, she was a dancer. She actually wanted to go to New York and dance on Broadway. I mean, she had some really interesting goals in life. But, she was always a really high achiever. And she told me about her surprising goal when she was accepted into the police academy. And, Charlie, that's tease number 2.
There you are, back in the city that you thought you had left behind. And now you're in the police academy.
This is going to make me sound so arrogant, but it's the truth. When I got the letter, my mom's like, you got in. What are you going to do? I said, Mom, I'm not coming back to Milwaukee unless I can be the mayor. So I'll start as police officer. But if I'm coming back to Milwaukee, I want to be mayor. Now that I'm more involved in politics, I do not want to be mayor in any way. Do not. But that was my thought. Like, I'm not coming back to Milwaukee just to do this job.
You became a rookie officer. Mm-hmm. You're a woman. There weren't that many women on the department still, were there?
I had other female officers at my work locations, and that's kind of who you connect with as a female right away. But I didn't have very many female bosses. I started noticing women in law enforcement when I became the academy director. Then I have a class of 65. And when I only have 5 females in it, that's when I was like, we need more females.
She is a dynamo.
I love her passion, Libby. I mean, that's incredible.
Oh, well, you know what? And another thing about it is I asked her, obviously we talk about this so often, Steve, and that is the violence that's happening on the streets of Milwaukee. And she began as a police officer back in 1996. And things have changed quite a bit from them, and we talked about it.
When I was 12 and my sister was 11, we had swim practice at Marshall High School, which was about 3 blocks away from our home. And we walked in and our house was burglarized. And that's when I was like, yeah, I don't like feeling this way. And so that's when things started to change for me. And I think that's actually when there was really no other option for me than to do the work that I do, because I did not like the way that I felt. And my sister handled it worse than I did. She had nightmares. She wanted to move, whereas I wanted to get them.
What do you mean you wanted to get
them?
I
wanted to find out who did this, took away my safety, arrest them, and put them in jail. I think, unfortunately, we have now become this place where guns are literally everywhere. In 1997, if someone got a traffic stop and they got a gun and they got some drugs and they got a money, we'd all be like, oh, what'd you get? What kind of gun is it? Everybody has a gun now. Whether you have it legally, and then you have the people that just feel like they have guns. And we're seeing at a younger age, kids with guns, because there are so many. I just think for some reason guns have become this accepted culture. And just going out, and instead of having true conflict resolution, you just shoot each other. Whereas when I was on the playground, we would just fight, right? We'd just have a fist fight, whatever. But nowadays, that's not what's going to happen. Someone's going to bring a gun.
And Libby, that's the new reality for law enforcement, public safety. They see that every day.
Exactly. And of course, she also talked about that incident when she was just a kid that happened to her family and what drove her to become a police officer. And we talk about all of that. And like I said, there is no question that I asked her that she was reticent about, that she pulled back and said, I don't want to answer that. She is one of the most forthright and certainly honest people I've ever talked to, and I found her delightful. I think she's really great, and I can see why a lot of police officers in Milwaukee respect her as the assistant police chief, because she is definitely a police officer's police officer.
I love it. Must listen to Libby's candid conversation with Assistant Police Chief Nicole Waldner Sunday morning at 11 a.m. on WTMJ Conversations. Libby, stay warm. Go Pack, go.
Exactly. I'm going to be rooting myself into a frenzy tomorrow night.
All right. Let's hope we have a lot more to talk about next Friday when she joins us. Thank you, Libby Collins.
Thanks, Steve.
All right. After the break, some Packers talk, real Packers talk with a special guest. That's coming up next on WTMJ Now.
It's WTMJ Now.
Oh, I'm already running late. Let's go.
There is a backup on I-94 eastbound.
Wait, is that Debbie Lazaga?
Expect delays.
Well, how bad is it?
Alternate routes will help you in your journey.
I feel better.
Get where you need to go calmly with traffic reporter Debbie Lazaga, only on News Radio WTMJ.
Follow me on social.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for the Bath Authority. You don't have to look at your old bath or shower and have to look at the outdated, mold, mildewy, broken tiles reality that you face every day when you get in. Call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with, get this, world-class customer experience. Elevate your bathroom. Don't settle. Elevate to a new level of luxury, style, and safety. Schedule your free in-home estimate today and get $1,000 off a new shower or bath. Plus, get this, 36 months of interest-free financing. You got to go there today. BathAuthority.com. Simple. BathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Earn now, spend later during Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Rewards Members Dollar Days. Now through the end of January, Rewards members earn $10 in Blaine's Bucks for every $100 spent in store to redeem just like cash, February 8th through the 21st. Start earning today with 40-pound bags of Easy Heat wood fuel pellets, $4.99. Rewards members pay just $4.79. Plus, get up to 70% off assorted holiday decor, candles, and other clearance items. Earn Blaine's Bucks now to spend later during Blaine's Farm and Fleet's Rewards Members Dollar Days.
You can give them the same old, or you can surprise them with something unique from St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Store at a bargain. Almost new, but really cool. The thing about thrift store gift shopping is that you never know what you'll find, but when you find it, you'll know it's right. That's what makes it fun. And if you just can't choose, gift cards are always available at St. Vincent de Paul Thrift Stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield and 23rd and Lincoln in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only at the Wisconsin State Fair Cream Puff Pavilion. Millions of inventory must be sold. Prices are slashed up to 60% off retail, so save thousands. Save big on new hot tub spas and saunas. Plus, see the Michael Phelps Signature Swim Spas by Master Spas.
Hi, I'm Michael Phelps. Join the swimming revolution.
The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show this weekend only at the Wisconsin State Fair Park Cream Puff Pavilion. Visit 800spasale.com.
WTMJ Now.
Oh, you know what's happening tomorrow night? Big playoff game. San Francisco, the Bay Area. 49ers, Packers. I think the Packers are 9.5-point underdogs. I love people with credibility. This guy, next guest, has a lot of credibility. Tom Grassi is not just a podcaster. Packcast is his podcast. He's Packers 2023 Fan of the Year. Does some comedy. All-around expert on the Packers. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I got to have the Fan of the Year on. That's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah, no, it was pretty fantastic. I mean, just incredibly grateful just to have that, and for fans for submitting my name and things like that. It's been kind of a whirlwind, and now we're going to the Super Bowl in a few weeks. As the Packers Fan of the Year, and we'll see if we can win the whole thing, both for the Packers and for Fan of the Year.
I love your optimism. I also, when I was reading your bio, I noticed this little nugget. You traveled to all 30 NFL stadiums in 30 days, raised $500,000 for St. Jude. What prompted you to do that? And that is a significant amount of money.
Yeah, and then, that's when I just go back to just, highlighting the fan base and the community here that we've been building for the past few years because, they're the ones who made that possible. We had some really nice donations for some teams, like the Steelers donated some money, and then a lot of teams donated like jerseys and things like that to auction off. But the vast majority of the donations were just from everyday working people, and we were able to raise that kind of money. And it was in June, which was the off season. And ever since I started doing this, I started doing podcasts in 2015. And since then, it's gotten a bit larger. We just hit 600,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And every single year, I've tried to give back and use the platform, as it's gotten bigger just to give back. And now, over the past 3 years, I believe, we've raised over $720,000 for charity, including $500K this past summer.
Great work. So I got to ask the easy question. Why the Packers? What is it about the Packers that inspires everything about what you do?
I get that question actually all the time because I'm born and raised in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense of why is this guy a Packers fan? And I've been a Packers fan since I was 6 years old. And the easy story is my dad is a diehard Cowboys fan.
Oh, that must have been interesting.
Don't worry, Sunday was fantastic. We actually went to the Des No-Catch game together in Green Bay. And
I was at that game as well. Yeah.
One of us was very upset driving home, the other not so much. And what wound up happening was my father tried to raise me as a Cowboys fan. And being in New York, there's a lot of Giants fans around. They're like, you can't be a Cowboys fan. Can't do that. And I was like, well, I was not going to do that. And I don't want to be a Giants and Jets fan because they're not really that great, whatever. But I went into school when I was 6 years old. And so I just overheard somebody saying that the Packers, beat the daylights out of the Cowboys the night before, and they scored 45 points on them. So I went home being 6 years old, and I'm just like, hey, Dad, I'm a Packers fan. And I stayed like that for 27 years.
I love the loyalty. Tom Grossi joining us on WTMJ now. So you follow this team, obviously the podcast. And before I forget, how do folks find your podcast, by the way?
Oh, it's mostly just through YouTube now. So yeah, you just throw in Tom Grossi or Packcast. You'll find it, or Yelling Packers Guy. I'm sure you'll find something too.
There you go. So as somebody who follows this team like you do and talks about them a lot, what do you think the chances look like tomorrow night?
I think it's obviously going to be a step up from what the Cowboys were. The Cowboys, they had the advantage of being at home and stuff like that. They didn't know that obviously it was the Packers' home stadium as well. But at this point, I think the 49ers are a very good football team, but they are not without their flaws. They're a team that, does not play from behind very well. If you put up a good amount of points on them, it's tough for them to kind of get into that mode of constantly scoring quickly because they're a team that can score quickly, but they like to run the ball a lot. They like to kind of just move take down the clock, etc. So if the Packers are able to do what they did to the Cowboys in terms of just the amount of points scored as quickly as they did against Dallas, they have a shot. Their offensive line, besides Trent Williams, is a little bit weaker. Their secondary is a little bit weaker, but their pass rush makes up for that because, obviously it's really, really good. So the Packers, the way they've been playing, I think the biggest test is going to be that defense, of course, and trying to contain all the weapons of the Deebo Samuels, the Brandon Ayuks of the world, Christian McCaffrey, of course, and Brock Purdy. He's no slouch himself. So I think that it's definitely going to be a bigger challenge, but the offense has been playing so well. Jordan Love has been playing so well for this past month and a half. And Sunday time that he had all of his weapons. Christian Watson has been banged up all year, right? Romeo Doubs had a big game. Jaden Reed, he didn't even have to do much in that game, but block, and it's still he's been one of the best receivers this year. It's just a matter of there's so much depth and talent on that offense that I feel like not a lot of people outside of Green Bay recognize, except after they beat the Cowboys. And now, going into Santa Clara, it is going to be a difficult game. But that offense that the Packers have constructed right now, I think it's going to be tough for any team to stop.
This game echoes the 95 game. That year, the Cowboys and the 49ers were the two top teams. Green Bay, Holmgren takes the Packers out there, and they upset the 49ers. I think they were 9.5-point dogs, and they just blew them off the field. Obviously different generation, but it has that feel to it. I think the Packers are 7.5 or 8-point underdogs. But given Aaron Jones' progress over the last 4 weeks, which has been absolutely lights out performance, 3 touchdowns in Dallas, given Jordan Love, arguably the best quarterback in the last 10 weeks in the NFL, at least one of the best, and their performance in Dallas against, and actually Chicago, against 2 top 5 defenses, that gives me, this Packers fan, hope.
I was mentioning this yesterday that, obviously the 49ers have had the Packers number in the postseason, right? They were 4-0 against the Aaron Rodgers-led Packers in the playoffs. And it just seems like no matter what we could do, we just could never beat them, right? Because they had that defense, they have everything. This year, just having this house money and kind of just playing of like, wow, this is such a young team. This experience is amazing. Won a playoff game. This is probably the most confident I've been in an ability to beat the 49ers in a good while. I had that faith in like 21 a little bit, but I was like, oh, I don't know. Their defense is really good. Our special team's not so great. And unfortunately, we didn't win that game. So for this, you bring up Aaron Jones. I'm very curious to see what the game plan is, because I think that the run defense of the 49ers is going to be a little bit better than the Cowboys, because Aaron Jones did whatever he wanted. I think also being played outdoors, I think there might also be some rain too. It's going to be interesting to see if they really stick with Aaron Jones or they just give a lot of different looks, end arounds with Jaden Reed and, short passes to like some of our speedy guys on the edge. But yeah, I'm feeling relatively confident. Cautiously optimistic, if you will, because I think that this team is just playing with a fire right now. And talk about momentum, they have a ton of it. And maybe, Saturday night just happens to be our night.
How often do you get to games, if you do, at Lambeau?
Oh, so I go to Lambeau every single year. I go to training camp, and then usually, I'm sending fans to go experience at Lambeau. I've been very fortunate enough that I've gone to 2 playoff games at Lambeau. I mentioned the Des No catch, and then also the Giants wild card with the Hail Mary at the end of the half.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great one. So I wind up not going as many, but once I move to Wisconsin, which I'm hoping to do this year, I hope to attend a few more.
When you do move to Wisconsin, make sure you reconnect with me. We'll have you in studio and talk about your love of the Packers, as matches mine, certainly. You were the 2023 Fan of the Year. The podcast is the Packcast, and name is spelled Grossi. Tom Grossi. Pleasure to talk to you.
No, I really appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time, and go Pack Go.
Absolutely, go Pack Go. Thank you, Tom. And we'll take a break here. Lots more to get to in the remaining 35 minutes or so. If you have a Packers thought, you can certainly send it my way, 855-616-1620. Thanks to producer Charlie for setting up that conversation. Much appreciated. We'll take a break here on WTMJ.
More of WTMJ now after this. Miss any of the truth on WTMJ?
I'm representing the bull.
Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Catch the podcast wherever you get your podcasts and catch up on moments like this.
I think that's the first time you've ever not said something about my age in your life.
I have no comment regarding your wisdom.
And listen to The Truth on WTMJ every Sunday from 7 until 9 with Dr. Ken Harris and Denise Thomas, right here on 620 WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Universal Windows Direct. Don't be cold in your own home. Do not suffer through one more winter in a cold and drafty house. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. Right now, schedule your free in-home estimate today. For every 2 windows you buy, next 2 free. I'll repeat that. 2 windows you buy, next 2 free. Plus, free upgrade to triple pane glass. The best you can do in keeping that cold out. And, oh, by the way, they'll double your energy tax credit. And one more thing. If you tell them Scaffidi told you to call, you get an additional $250 off your product. I can't do any more than that. That's amazing. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to universalwindowsdirect.com. universalwindowsdirect.com. You'll be saying, like I say, I love my windows.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Flimsy, feeble, flaccid. That's how you can describe most pre-approval letters these days. Heck, a lot of big banks issue pre-approval letters using soft credit pulls instead of real credit reports. Do you really want to compete in today's still low inventory market with a soft credit pull and a pre-approval that's silent on 2 of the 3 critical elements of a mortgage approval? A rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet not only verifies your credit with a real credit report, we also verify your income and down payment, and then issue a letter with a $2,000 guarantee to back it up. And now, AccuNet is issuing property-specific pre-approvals that often come with this sweet phrase, no appraisal required. That's right, AccuNet may be able to issue your pre-approval at or above the seller's asking price without needing an appraisal. Today's home market is still a metaphorical knife fight. Your bank is offering you, well, a pocket knife. AccuNet is Crocodile Dundee. Now that's a knife, mate. Click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
For over a century, local radio has evolved with the needs of the community.
From politics to pop culture, we keep you informed, bringing you the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
WTMJ Now.
L is for the way you look at me. Oh,
I could literally let that one run for a while. I found a little bit of breaking news. Republicans in the state of Wisconsin have proposed a new bill today to ban abortion after 14 weeks of pregnancy. I'm monitoring the story. I'm not going to get to it today, but we'll certainly talk about it on Monday probably. Bill McCoshen alluded to that earlier in the Political Power Hour. Governor Tony Evers already said he won't sign the proposal, which we would need his support. Republicans would need to support to head to voters on the April election ballot. So something to think about. Some breaking news that is happening as we speak today. A little Packers cleanup because I got to take another break in a couple minutes. I said this before. Our expectation should be that we're not happy to be here because this team has certainly earned it, but this is bonus football. Win or lose, most of us, not everybody, because there's fans that say, oh, we're going to make the playoffs, we're going to the Super Bowl every year. They're unrealistic, and that frankly doesn't happen. But this is one of those things that is, for most Packers fans, unexpected, exciting, and fun. And that's the way you should look at it. This is a chance to have fun with your team in the playoffs. Dominant performance. I've watched it 3 times on my TV since Sunday. And it is, if you have a DVR and you've recorded it, go back and watch it before the game tomorrow night. You're going to feel good about this team. And I mentioned it with Tom Grassi, Packers Fan of the Year in 2023, which is an amazing distinction, by the way, because there's millions of Packers fans. So congrats to Tom for that. And he's a good guy. And we will have him in studio when he moves back to Wisconsin. Good life choice there, buddy. It is one of these games, anybody who's been around this Packers team for as long as I have, tremendous ups, tremendous downs. You know what the downs are, right? Fail Mary game in the regular season, 2014 championship game in Seattle where they threw it away. That was the best team in football they were, and they threw that season away. 2007, Brett Favre's last game, interception at the end, long field goal by the Giants. They go on to win the Super Bowl. Another fantastic team. But then 1996, 2010, I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to be in Dallas for the Super Bowl and to see all of that. We've been lucky as fans. Ask the folks in Minnesota or Chicago or Detroit. They don't know what that feels like. So take it for what it is. A chance to enjoy some postseason football with your favorite franchise in a game nobody expects them to win. Because I've been watching the monitors on the sports stations. Everybody's picked the 49ers, just like I think everybody but one picked the Cowboys last week. Who cares? As long as this team, Jordan Love, Aaron Jones, all those great receivers, the head coach, Matt LaFleur, the organization thinks they can win, I think they can win. I'll say they're going to win. Doesn't matter what I say, but I feel optimistic. Bonus football, always a good thing, especially when you're a fan of the Green Bay Packers. Another quick break, and then I'm going to pose a question. There's all these dating apps out there. I read a story last night. LinkedIn, where typically people network for business, now a dating app apparently. We'll discuss after this.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
The pain was so bad I could barely walk. And now after stem cell treatment, I run marathons.
Now this is an exaggeration, but I do hear about unbelievable miracle outcomes. And I have to ask, do you really believe them? If they were true, these biological treatments wouldn't even have to be advertised. Truth is, stem cell effectiveness is nowhere near 100%. It's expensive, and it doesn't last. At Rejuvenex, our FDA-approved pharmacological treatments ease inflammation and reduce pain. They're precisely administered to where your pain lives, and they work. Will the pain reduction last forever? No. But in some cases, relief has lasted as long as 24 months, and in most cases, insurance has paid for the treatments entirely. This is Richard Salinas, registered nurse with Rejuvenex Arthritis Clinics, where we can alleviate your pain and rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your appointment.
A jewelry store can be a pretty scary place.
It's full of diamonds and gold, and sometimes the salespeople can make you feel like you really don't belong.
Who wants to feel like that? Buying a diamond should be one of the happiest and most exciting moments of your life, and we promise to make it that way for you. Cross my heart. No matter your age, how you're dressed, or how much money you have, you're going to have a magical experience when you come to Kessler's.
You're going to see the largest selection of diamond engagement rings in one place at one time than you've ever seen in your life.
Looking at rings is a wonderful way to spend time together. And when you find the ring you know is the one, but cash might be a little tight, we've got fantastic financing available and we'll work hard to get you approved.
We're on your side. Kessler's is always on your side. We're 8 stores strong with 6 locations in Wisconsin and 2 in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We'd be thrilled to have you stop in and see what we're all about.
WTMJ Now.
I'm like the last person who should talk about dating apps because I've never used one, but I had to talk about the story. I'm on LinkedIn. I don't use it a lot, but I sometimes share some show content on there, and people are always trying to connect with me, which I usually accept. But apparently now, even though in 2020 they basically said we're not a dating app, they're kind of a dating app. And there's like reasons why this is happening. And if you don't know, it's like sort of a networking site. It's pretty big. A lot of business professionals use it. It's a great way to vet somebody who, for example, real life, real time, my show, an interview guest. I find out a lot about themselves, their companies, if they're CEOs, like what they're about, where they went to school, good background information. So apparently LinkedIn, the least likely, I think, of all the platforms, is now becoming a dating place. So some of the challenges that I read about with dating apps is that you can't trust the profiles. People lie. It's often not really dating that people are interested in. Does that make sense? In a sort of an innocuous way to put that. But some of the reasons why people like LinkedIn, which is more of a network site, network platform for business professionals, you sort of know that they're honest on there because it's their business profile, business bio. And it's hard to lie about that. I mean, I suppose you could create a fake bio, but you kind of would be able to figure that out pretty quickly. And if you put a company's name on there, you're going to know pretty quickly that they're not working for that company. So easy to vet is the second reason. It's also, you want to find people that are not lying about themselves and are hardworking and interested in sort of doing the right thing. Great dating pool of candidates, successful in business, successful in life. Kind of a cool thing. No fake accounts compared to some of these other places, which are full of bots and all the fakeness. Again, people trying to get one thing and not really interested in dating per se. Pretty hard to have a fake LinkedIn account. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, maybe made a connection, they could do something else for you outside of dating. So LinkedIn is a dating app. So real quick, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because we're running out of time in this show. If you used LinkedIn or are aware of someone who used LinkedIn as a dating app to meet somebody, not just for the business networking, but for the romantic networking, love to hear from you, 855-616-1620. I'm sure it happens. People meet each other in a lot of different ways now. I read the story at LinkedIn on their own platform. 7 reasons why everyone is using LinkedIn for dating. And something, by the way, that in 2020, they basically said, August 2020, LinkedIn announced it was cracking down on unsolicited romantic advances and other forms of harassment. Direct quote, LinkedIn is not a dating website. And now they're writing content which basically says, yeah, we're kind of a dating website. Amazing transformation. And again, I would argue, not an expert on dating apps at all, of all the platforms, what is it, Tinder and Rumble and Bumble and all the other, whatever they are, don't know, don't care, Match.com, Harmony.com, right? Harmony is another one, I think. I don't know. This seems to make the most sense. Because what do we know? You need a real person with a real job and a real profile. LinkedIn seems, my opinion, to be the right match. See what I did there? Yes, did it on purpose. Quick break.
More of WTMJ Now after this.
This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. The Energy Star ratings for windows are getting a lot tougher to get the tax credit, so you're going to want to take advantage of. Fortunately, we still have options that will qualify you for those tax credits. Now, I can sit here and talk benefits of this product or what's great about that product. So can everybody else. But what a lot of operations can't do is with complete confidence stand behind the crew that's going to be on that next job. Talk is cheap, I get it, but our people are exceptional. How do I know? Because me and Vito handpick every single person that makes our team. Some make the cut, a lot don't. And that's why you can be confident that the windows we install for you will be top quality, installed right, and that you're going to get great service. And that's never failed us. So for your home's new windows, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. You don't have to toss and turn. You don't have to have restless nights of sleep. You don't have to wake up more often than you probably realize, and all that poor sleep leads to horrendously poor days. I did something about it. I went to Advent, one of their great facilities. Amazing, quick 30-minute visit. They put me at ease, answered my questions. We did a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined my problem, sinuses, nasal passages in my breathing triangle. They did a short procedure in office. Honest to God. And I was a customer before I was a spokesperson. Breathe better than ever. Sleep through the whole night. Don't struggle with restless nights. Last night, 7.5 hours uninterrupted. Woke up refreshed. That can be your story. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to AdventKnows.com and schedule an appointment today, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Get a tax refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt now. No fee refund advance is offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Shop the January New Year's sale on better quality furniture and mattresses at Ken Michaels Furniture.
If you have the January blues, brighten up your weekend with a great fish fry tonight at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Merck here. I love the Fox and Hounds, and that cod fish fry is all you care to eat. All other dinners are buy one, get one free, including the pan-fried walleye and steak and lobster. Desserts, and I love the desserts, and huge ice cream drinks are buy one, get one free. Was just in the Fox and Hounds with my family. They absolutely loved it. Sip on an old-fashioned, a Manhattan. Choose from one of the bourbons or 100 fine wines. The Fox and Hounds, right in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest. It is a one-of-a-kind gem. The holiday decorations are still up. Thousands of lights, the Christmas characters. It's so much fun. And those 7 wood-burning fireplaces will keep you warm on a cold January night. Saturday, buy one prime rib dinner. Get one free. I recommend the Sunday brunch. Top Choice Award winner for Best Sunday Brunch. Kids and grandkids under 3 eat for free. Just off Highway 167 near the Holy Hill Shrine. Enjoy your free dinner this weekend. It's the Fox and Hounds.
It's WTMJ Now.
We'll find out if that's true Saturday night in San Francisco, and I think it's 7:15 local time here, 5:15 San Francisco time. Packers, 49ers, I will be watching. Hopefully you will be as well. So I asked the question before the break, is LinkedIn a dating app? Kelly from Port Washington has something to say about that. Hi, Kelly. Happy Friday.
Hi, Steve. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, I've kind of a funny story.
All right.
Yeah, my current husband, believe it or not, he sent me a message through LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
He actually sent me a request. I've connected, and he sent me a message and said, "Hey, do you ever want to go out for a beverage?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sounds good." And lo and behold, we were college friends, but we hadn't seen each other in like 25 years, and we got married 6 years ago. Like, it happens. Everyone's going to use kind of any social media just to connect with people. So
had you done any dating app stuff before that?
I had, yes.
Okay. Unsuccessfully or
and
successfully?
This is the only one that worked.
Interesting.
This is the only one that worked.
So it's kind of surprised you, I would imagine, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you're just, it was just a form of connection. When my husband doesn't use any other social media, so it was just a way to connect with people. And I think people do that all the time, whether or not you're talking to someone on
all right,
Facebook.
What's your husband's first name?
Mike.
Mike, and how long have Mike and Kelly been married?
No, so he sent me a message 10 years ago.
10 years ago.
And 10 years ago, we've been married 6 years. So, okay, it's a good story.
All right, well, congrats.
But, it's not going to be the case. It's not really going to be the case for everyone to use LinkedIn as a dating service, but, good story.
But safer, thanks for the story. And safer than most, I would think. Kelly, thanks for that story. Yeah, it happens real life. LinkedIn dating app. And to my friends that are single, Well, get off that other crazy stuff and maybe start checking into LinkedIn more often. Because you more than likely have a job. I think the ones my friends that are single have jobs. And two, like Kelly said, might be a long lost high school classmate, somebody you used to work with. Why not use that opportunity? Again, they probably have a job, probably have an income, probably decent people, professionals. Thank you, Kelly. It's a good story. All right. We do this every Friday as well. A big upset in the Big D. We all watch that. An eventful evening in Iowa. Bitter cold wreaks havoc and more. It's the Week in Review, brought to you by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
More WTMJ now after this.
This is Libby Collins. Join me Sunday morning at 11 a.m. when we talk with Assistant Chief Nicole Waldner and find out how her dreams of becoming a Broadway dancer ended up with the Milwaukee Police Department.
We walked in and our house was burglarized. I was like, I don't like feeling this way. I wanted to find out who did this, took away my safety, arrest them, and put them in jail.
WTMJ Conversations, Sunday mornings at 11 on WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Chris and Tim closed their first loan with AccuNet $116,000 ago in terms of the median sales price in southeastern Wisconsin. We helped their daughter buy a home earlier this year, and now we're helping them buy their retirement condo. We're told there were 3 offers, 2 cash offers, and Chris and Tim's offer backed up by an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval. All 3 offers were probably over the asking price, but we're surmising Chris and Tim's offer was the highest because when the sellers asked the listing broker if they could count on the offer with the pre-approval letter, the answer was simply, AccuNet really does their homework. It's not easy to beat a cash offer over the asking price, but that's exactly what Tim and Chris did with some help from their trusted family mortgage lender. If you don't think the lender's name on your pre-approval letter matters, think again. It's still a seller's market in the Badger State, so click on the blue button at AccuNet.com today to get started with your rock-solid, guaranteed pre-approval. That's ACCUNET.com.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend only to the Wisconsin State Fair Cream Puff Pavilion. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% off retail. This weekend only at the Wisconsin State Fair Cream Puff Pavilion.
Outdoor living is a cherished experience here, especially in the warm season. Outdoor Living Unlimited is a local, family-owned company that will revolutionize outdoor living at your home. Visualize your home and yard with an in-ground pool, screen room, pergola, patio, pavers, deck, even an outdoor kitchen. Get with Outdoor Living Unlimited and put that dream into action. The honest, reliable artists and craftsmen will be honored to work with you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
The special Milwaukee Auto Show Advanced Discount Ticket Offer has been extended to January 21st. Turns out a lot of people want to come to the auto show. Get your auto show tickets now at a big discount. Buy a single ticket, or how about a pair of tickets for date night? Or you can buy a family 4-pack and take everybody. They can see all the latest vehicles, including cars, trucks, SUVs, luxury cars, and much more. For advanced discount tickets, go to AutoShowMilwaukee.com. That's AutoShowMilwaukee.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. WTMJ now.
All right, let's try it again. Here's that Week in Review.
What we do here is go back.
You get your rear end in there and you play the way you know how to play. We can win the game.
Nope.
Get my music, please.
Some way, somehow, when they count, just wait. They will let you down.
Love, Jones getting near the goal line. Is he in? He is. Prescott fires for Cooks, and it's intercepted. Aaron Jones up the gut, surging forward. He's in. There's Love. Pressure. Back foot throw. End zone. It is. Touchdown! Here's Prescott over the middle. It's going to be picked off, and no one in front of him. Darnell Savage. Touchdown. How about them Cowboys? Yeah!
Musgrave stayed on his feet.
But I'm not done yet. Lillard goes into the front court. He's going to fire up a 3 for the win, and he hit it! Game time has arrived!
I have a dream.
You and I, this means that we are not alone.
Fifth grader Journey Granberry reading her award-winning essay to 1017 The Truth.
These kids are so brave, putting themselves out there to a room full of 800 people.
Here in Israel, the country marks 100 days of war with Hamas, 100 days of captivity.
Former President Trump will win the Iowa Republican caucuses.
We want to thank the great people of Iowa. Thank you. We love you all.
As of this moment, we are going to suspend this presidential campaign.
Trump and Biden both lack a vision for our country's future.
We are not going to get rid of all this cold until Wednesday afternoon.
The city of Milwaukee is suspending garbage and recycling collections for the rest of the day due to the dangerously cold temperatures.
If you start feeling pain in your extremities or those exposed areas, that's probably a sign that it's getting a little bit too cold for you.
A 15-yard penalty for a late hit is not a bad thing, as long as it's worth it.
Chimera is being criticized for wanting Green Bay to play dirty.
I'm not saying play dirty. They have to change that narrative, and how you do it is by intimidation.
Washington County Executive Josh Shulman reiterating his pitch to residents of Milwaukee and Milwaukee County to come use the businesses in his county.
There is more than just Cracker Barrel.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel. Take care now.
Yesterday, I had a unique Milwaukee bucket list experience.
I am very excited to be inside the Pabst Theater after hours, eye level with one of the huge, beautiful, multi-crystalled chandeliers. Oh my God. Oh yeah, let there be light.
Privacy, please, was the message from the Princess of Wales as courtiers revealed Kate's recovering from major abdominal surgery in a London hospital.
We have an evacuation taking place in Hales Corners because of a gas leak. All Hales Corners elementary students are said to be safe and accounted for.
Carbon monoxide leak turned deadly in Greenfield.
34-year-old male and his father are found unresponsive and a strong smell of natural gas in the residence.
A Milwaukee police officer arrested and suspended.
Milwaukee police confirming to WTMJ that officers responded to a hospital for a child abuse investigation Wednesday night. The suspect is a Milwaukee police officer who was arrested and placed on full suspension.
Federal regulators are doing away with funny, quirky signs on the highway. That means it's time for Fact or Fiction, the Traffic Highway Edition.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Goodness gracious, thank you. If married to speed, divorce her.
One call, that's all.
Real or fake?
Sounds like, Vegas? I don't know.
That's fake.
That's fake.
That's real.
No,
I wish I came up with that one.
Okay,
that one's real.
Now I'm starting to understand why the feds got involved. But anyway,
now they're going a little overboard.
What a week.
No, ma'am.
Cracker Barrel.
Life is fragile.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Weekend Review sponsored by Outdoor Living Unlimited. I got a little bit of time here, so I ended my show early, so Tracy Johnson's jumping in with me as she does most days.
This is a lot of fun. I'm great.
Yeah?
This is great.
So you got your green and gold on for the Packers.
I know. This is my modified kind of Packers gear. I don't have really logoed clothing.
Why not?
That is the question my husband asks me all the time, and my kids.
Why don't you just get some?
I'm not going to wear it.
You're not a logo person?
I am not a logo person.
Well, you're pretty styled up. I mean, let's be honest.
I'm styled.
Do you have a stylist?
No, I don't have a stylist.
You don't have a professional stylist?
I
Come
do
on.
not. No.
CEO of a company doesn't have a stylist?
Oh God, it's a nonprofit. Come on, Steve. No, this is my version of the green and gold. So did I nail it?
It looks good.
It's like a green sport coat.
So does a Tracy Johnson, are you watching the game start to finish? Are you casually watching? What are you doing?
I'm getting together with friends, and the game will be on.
But you're not glued to it like I am.
I'm not, but it's so fun. I mean, I've grown up with it. It's just fun. It's a reason for people to get together. I don't have money on the game, unlike other people in my